11th season as your home for Major League Baseball.
It's mid-September, and the games loom larger at home and here north of the border. Tonight, it's the Yankees at the Blue Jays. Last year, the New York Yankees were perhaps baseball's version of virtual perfection. 125 wins and a World Series sweep. This season, they returned virtually intact, figuring you can't get enough of a good thing. They added more good things, like the Cy Young Rocket Man. But it has not been business as usual. For a month now, the Yankees have played just .500 ball. And after a sweep at the hands of their arch-rival Red Sox, their stumble has meant there are meaningful games in Oakland and in Toronto, with the tension sometimes too much to look. The pain continued for the Pinstripers. Old friend David Wells finally broke through against them for a 2-1 win and a 4-game Yankee losing streak. Last night, knowing Boston would win and staring at a 6-1 deficit in the 8th, Bernie Williams slammed the Yanks back to business. When Paul O'Neill added his 9th inning slam, 6-1 behind became a 10-6 win. And the Yankees, perhaps once again, have begun to raise the roof. And fittingly, the roof is open tonight at Sky Dome. An early fall feel, both in temperature and importance of the game. Rubber game, 3 games set the Yankees at the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees continue to lead the Red Sox by 3.5 after that monster win last night. Boston winning big. Toronto 6.5 out in the wild card race behind the Red Sox. And hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Ray Knight. Welcome across America to Canada. It's always fun coming up here.
It really is.
Well, the Yankees had some fun last night, but they were starting to wonder. I know these are the world champs and they don't rattle, but Ray, especially the middle of the lineup, the great pros that Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez are, they maybe were even starting to press a little bit, but bam and bam. And in talking to the players tonight, it was as if 18 gorillas were taken off their back. I'm telling you, they're a lot looser.
No question about it, Chris. This team has started to lose confidence. It's evidenced by swinging at bad balls, a lot of check swings, feeling for the ball. Pitching-wise, only really El Duque has thrown the ball extremely well day in and day out. 15-15 since August the 13th, and this team has really struggled. But last night, you always look for one time in the season when everybody comes together, buried at 6-1, grand slam, grand slam. This ball club today felt like a club, when you were hanging around them, that they believe again that they can win everything and go on to be the type of club that they thought they'd be coming into the season.
Meanwhile, conversely for Toronto, a heartbreaking loss. I've had 3 like that in the last week. And they really have no margin of error. I know they got 3 in Boston in the middle of next week, but they have had trouble with the contending teams in the American League. Jim Fregosi says we almost are in a position where we got to win just about every one. That's going to be tough as the Yankees are starting to smell October. Will last night's momentum carry over tonight? Henkin and Pettit coming up.
Here at VMI, we were asked to try the Norelco Advantage for...
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by the 1999 Land Rover Discovery Series 2, by Kinko's, Express Yourself, and by Philips, technology that's making life a little better all the time.
Beautiful September hot sky here in Toronto. A view of the CN Tower next door here to Sky Dome. You know, it's still one of our favorite places to come when this roof is open. And all of a sudden it was one of Joe Torre's favorite places, Ray, after last night's heroics in the 8th and 9th inning for the Yankees. The next tell lineup for Joe Torre tonight. Chuck New Kids on Knobloch. Lead off, of course, Derek Jeter comes into the game, the second-ranked batter in the American League. 2 points at .348 behind Nomar Garciaparra. Paul O'Neill with the slam in the 9th, hitting 3rd. Bernie Williams with the slam in the 8th, hitting 4th. Tino Martinez hitting 5th. Charles Theodore Davis, one of our favorites, a designated hitter, hitting 6th. Ricky Leday, who made that key play on the base pass to prolong that rally in the 8th inning, hitting 7th. D'Angelo Jimenez, youngster making his first major league start at third base as Scott Brocious is home following the death of his dad, and our heart out to Scott and his family. More on that later. Joe Girardi, the catcher, because Andy Pettitte is pitching, and it's Girardi's turn anyway. And they will go up against the 1996 Cy Young Award winner in the American League, Pat Henkin.
Pat Henkin starting his 31st game, 10-10, lifetime record of 104-74, 30 years old, features a fastball, a slider. Fastball he's lost a couple of miles an hour off of. You see there in the 193 hits and 171 and 2/3 innings pitched, not as many strikeouts. In 93 to 97, just a pure strikeout guy that came right at you. Now complements that slider and fastball with a changeup and a splitter. Has to, as a lot of pitchers nowadays, throw to spots in order to be effective and get ahead of hitters.
Good to see you, Ray. Post Labor Day baseball, man.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while. Now it gets fun.
It does. It does indeed. Knobloch to lead off against Pat Henkin. Well, you know what Henkin's going to do. He's going to try and work it in and out. Henkin is really, I mean, at 10-10, you say, gee, what's happened to him? But they really feel he has grown very well second half of the season.
Well, he really has. His earned run average is just under 4 in the second half. But he moves that fastball around very well. Uses it a lot. Early in his career, when he had a fastball of 93, 94 miles an hour, complementing with a tremendous slider, he was a guy that was always in low-hit games. You saw there on the graphic where he has given up 190-plus hits over 170 innings. Generally, he is one of those guys that gives you about 220, 25 innings and only gives up around 190 hits. Been a little more hittable as his velocity has decreased.
2-1, swung on by Knobloch and skied almost through the roof. That's Pat Borders. Downey's being called off by Tony Fernandez, two long-time Blue Jays who have flown back to the coop on old-timers night, as Jim Fregosi calls it.
Really, and as you look at their stats, 336 for Fernandez and 302 for Borders, having great years. The defense for the Toronto Blue Jays. Cruz back in there in center field. There, Homer Bush. 11 errors early in the season. This kid's having a great year. The acquisition involved in the trade with David Wells and Roger Clemens. And just 3 errors the second half, playing great. Delgado at first tonight, and the great unsung, tremendous right fielder Sean Green.
I got some players here now in Toronto, just that folks stateside don't know that much about. So Derek Jeter is up. Swinging at the first pitch is Jeter, as we mentioned, 348. He's second in the league in batting. A couple other multi-hit games. He leads the league with 60 of those. Scored 114 runs. The lead is Robbie Alomar with 126. Jeter is 4 hits away from 200 hits this season, Ray. He leads the league with 196. Let's just put it this way. He's an MVP candidate.
He is definitely an MVP candidate. Has fallen off with his power a little bit. Was on the pace to hit about 35 home runs early in the year, and down right at 22 home runs. But has maintained that batting average. It's going to be tough for him to win the batting title, Chris. I was looking at he and Garcia Parra. And Garcia Parra, due to that injury early in the year, has 100 fewer at bats. So if they hit the same throughout the season, as long as they're right around 3 or 4 percentage points.
Bobbled by Tony Fernandez, and a throw in the dirt, and boy, this one carries, and they might have a play on Jeter. Here's the throw by Bush, and this goes into left field. This is what we saw in the 8th inning and 9th inning last night. And what I started to say, Ray, is that you know, and I know, that in his prime and even past his prime a little bit, Tony Fernandez was as sure a fielder in the infield as we've seen in the last 2 decades.
Oh, boy, in 95, he came to the Reds, and we moved him to third base, and he didn't miss anything. Made 5 errors that whole season, not one throwing error. He's been automatic. Last night, a throwing error. Tonight, a throwing error. Tough play right here because Jeter gets between Homer Bush and the bag and really couldn't see. But that's a routine play. Knock that ball down. All you got to do is pick it up and throw it over there. And looked like to me he tried to short hop it on purpose. On the AstroTurf, got a little too close to Delgado. Delgado known for his bat, not his glove.
17th error of the year for Tony Fernandez, who in his first tour of duty with Toronto won 4 straight Gold Gloves at shortstop. I'm telling you, I know Ozzie got all the pub, but in a different way, I thought he was the smoothest of our era the last 20, 25 years. Paul O'Neill to center field. They're going to wave Jeter home. They will not contest it. And so the unearned run is scored by the Yankees, and Paul O'Neill picks up right here in the first where he left off in the ninth last night. You open the door for the Yankees, they're going to jump on you, and this is the Yankee club that we've come to see.
Great hitting ball club that takes advantage of every mistake. Real good job of reading this right here. Jeter gets down there, look at him. He might as well just go ahead. He keeps stutter stepping, but if that ball's called, he's dead out anyway. Once you make your commitment to third base and you're over halfway, you might as well go ahead and score. But Jeter right here, not certain whether that ball should have been caught. From this angle, it looked like it might hang up, but Cruz decides to hold up on the ball. And again, as you say, Yankees capitalizing on a mistake. Paul O'Neill, Martinez, Williams, all having big years. Martinez not really putting up big numbers. He is putting up big numbers, but has not been consistent all year long. O'Neill beginning to swing the bat. Williams with that sore right shoulder has not done much right-handed at all. Got a lot left-handed.
Yeah, but what he did last night may be one that they'll be talking about at the end of October. We'll see. You know, you hate to pick one game in 162 and start to say what it means. And as David Cohn said over the weekend after he was swept by the Red Sox, I don't know that we needed a wake-up call, but we sure got one. Well, the alarm was sounded by Bernie and O'Neill yesterday. Pitch in there by Henke. It's 1-1. Paul O'Neill, and I read some things he was saying. Well, he asked some writers, what do you define as a career year? Is that like a real good year for somebody? A year better than a guy's ever had before? Because whatever it is, I'm having my worst career year. Who's harder on himself than Paul O'Neill?
No way. No one.
There's not a water cooler safe around the American League.
And that's why everybody leaves him alone. He kind of stakes out that little place right at the end of the dugout, always away from the manager. His little domain down there, and not too many people get close when he makes out.
I tell you, he had a big smile. I saw him when I was the first guy I saw it. I walked in the park tonight. And we had a nice, easy conversation for 10 minutes. A grand slam that'll win the game will do that for you. But I will make this observation, and then I'll leave last night's game alone a little bit, is that I was not here last night. And we were doing baseball tonight. We were at the Zone opening in New York, the new ESPN Zone. But I watched it on TV, and I watched the highlights today and the replays. The bench at either of the grand slams and neither of the batters, everybody was excited now. Ball in the dirt. 3-1. But it was not. It was also the sign of a veteran team that didn't expect to hit the homers necessarily, but it wasn't like, oh my God, we just won the pennant, like the exuberance of youth. It was we've done this before, we're excited, but they took it in stride. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, and teams like the Yankees expect to win. I think, especially since August when they've gone 15-15, that there's a little doubt that has crept in, a little loss of confidence. Not getting the big hit, not making the big play.
There goes O'Neill on a 3-1. He'll have to return as Williams lost it to left. Although with a late jump, jump is not the right word, a late lope. It was Jacob Brumfield, but there are two out. Go ahead, Greg.
And you look at this ball club and what they established last year, and everybody was talking about them being the best baseball club to ever don a uniform, and there was not too many people could dispute that based upon what their record showed. This year, struggled Joe Torre there with the health problems. Pitching staff having a tough time getting ironed out. The problems from spring training with Arabu. Posada really struggling behind the plate. Knobloch defensively just making a lot of mistakes out there. Just a lot of things that have not gone really well for this ball club. Roger Clemens struggling throughout the year, and asked longtime commentator and great left-handed pitcher Jim Cott about Clemens before, and he says, hey, it's almost like he's afraid of bats, and that's just lack of confidence. When
it doesn't sound like him either.
No way.
There goes O'Neill this time. Borders with the throw. It's a good one, and he's nailed at second base. Pat Borders just threw a rope. And O'Neill, who ran on a hit and run on the batter before, now gets thrown out. So Tino will start a new at bat when the Yankees bat the next time. Manager of those great Phillies teams in '93 that got to the World Series and lost right here against the Blue Jays. And the Nextel lineup for Jim Bella Fergosi, as Ray mentioned, the one-time Yankee Homer Bush, We'll lead off at second base. Brian McCray, very disappointing, injured. DH hitting second. Sean Green, 40-40, 100 perhaps this year for the young right fielder who's been scorching hot. Carlos Delgado de Vida, the cleanup hitter, one of the leaders in home runs in the American League. Tony Fernandez flirted with 400 for the first 3 months of the season, hitting fifth. Young shortstop over from Arizona early this year, Tony Batista, hitting sixth. Pat Borders gets the start tonight behind the plate. Jose Cruz Jr. hitting eighth. Jacob Brumfield hitting ninth against the left-hander for the New York Yankees, who finished second to Henkin back in '96 in the Cy Young voting, Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, Andy Pettitte struggled a lot this year. Been out, just very inconsistent. Of his last 8 starts, he's 5-3 though. Early in the year, he had begun to throw just too many cutters. Mel Stottlemyre got him to start throwing more curveballs, slow curveballs, the hard-breaking curveball, throwing a little bit more of his fastball down and away. Just got in that rut of just falling in love with that cutter, getting behind in the count, people sitting on it, and when you miss with it out over the plate, they hammered him. But pitching the ball real well right now.
So this is Homer Bush. The Yankees really didn't want to lose him. It was, as you mentioned, Wells, and Bush, and Graham Lloyd, the lefty, who's done a good job here with Toronto to get Roger Clemens. And how long do you think it's going to take for the ball to find the youngster, D'Angelo Jimenez, making his first major league start at third base? Do you give it 2 at-bats?
I wouldn't be surprised if this first ball goes right down there. A lot of ground balls from Pettitte. He doesn't throw the ball now overpowering. A lot of sliders down and in, change-ups, and that big curveball. So there's going to be a lot of ground balls hit to that left side.
Breaking ball. Well, that was a charity hop that he almost throws away. So welcome to the bigs as a starter, D'Angelo Jimenez.
And if you don't think that he's nervous, I'm telling you, you got a little grin right there. But I know the first time I was in the big leagues, I got called up in 1974. First ground ball hit to me. I didn't know what to do with it. I gunned it over there as hard as I could.
Did
Tony
you get the
Perez.
out?
Oh, yeah. Tony Perez caught it. It just happened to be a good throw. It wasn't because I had anything to do with it. I was so nervous. I was more nervous
What year
on
was that?
defense.
1974. There were no good players on that team, were there?
No.
You came up with?
I actually got called up that year to play defense at third base and thought that I might have a chance the next year to be the everyday third baseman. And then they moved George Foster to left field and Pete Rose to third. And I went back to AAA for 3 years.
Some pretty good names on that squad. Brian McCray, much traveled Brian McCray. Just knees is not enabling him really to play the center field as he fouls that away. A young man that you will not see in the outfield tonight, he'll be back in a couple of days, is Shannon Stewart, who, among other things, hit the base hard with his knee. It could have been a ligament. They were afraid it was a ligament damage in the game Detroit on Sunday. It was not that, but they're holding him off. They hope to have him over the weekend. And one thing that young Shannon Stewart has done has been at or near the lead of stolen bases in the American League all year. Although, you know what? Here we are in September. He's 37, and that's what leads the league. It's just, well, times are different, but he leads the league.
Times are different, and there's so many people now just playing for the 3-run home run. It reminds me of Earl Weaver over and over and over and over again. Hardly, I mean, there's people that bunt, especially in the American League, that bunt over National League, hit and runs, bunts. American League, they just do not run as much. Well, you look at the Yankees from last year. Last year they had 8 guys that stole 10 or more bases. This year they only have 3 men. So
I asked Joe about that. I said, why aren't you running, Joe? She said, hard to run. We're not on base that much. Whoa. You're on base a little more than like the Royals.
But it's hard to run when you're behind.
Here's that injury that we were talking about in Tiger Stadium. And he just was flying toward the bag. And wow. Oh. That's the first time I've seen that. I mean, I read all about it, and they thought it was something really serious.
Oh, man.
Ray, you do that in your 30s and hit the bag like that, that's ACL and MCL.
Oh, God.
Do that in your 20s, you can survive it. Meanwhile, Brian McCray survives that at bat, and on a 3-2 pitch, the Jays have their first base hit. Here's the defense, Ray.
Yankees defense. Everything pretty normal. Ricky Leday winning that left field job, really swinging the bat great. Great base running play last night. And the young third baseman, 21 years old, D'Angelo Jimenez. Chuck Knobloch at second, making all those errors. The great Derek Jeter. But Jimenez was signed with the Yankees as a 16-year-old, actually a shortstop, voted the most valuable or the best shortstop in an international league this year, switched over to third base.
Ground ball by Sean Green, the knob block to Jeter. And look at the speed by Sean Green, a 30-30 man a year ago. And not that it was the easiest ball, but on AstroTurf, you expect to turn that on the majority of players.
Look, that is the old tailor-made double play. You've got your second baseman going toward the bag. Look right here. He's going right toward the bag. All he does is take it out and flip it, but he takes 2 steps before he gives the ball, and Jeter has to wait on it as opposed to getting the feed out in front of him. So that's what happens right there. Jeter catches the ball behind the bag. Very difficult to make the turn from there.
So Green, having a great statistical year, all-star, is on first, and Carlos Delgado de Vida, who has iron butterflied 43 home runs this year, which ties him with Palmeiro, second in the American League, 2 behind Junior Griffey with 45. I remember when he came up in the mid-90s. Strong, strong, strong. He has hit the roof balls in Tiger Stadium, the upper deck, the tattoo, the windows of the World Restaurant. He's hit monster shots, not only down the line and right. He's hit a couple opposite way, Ray. Very strong.
Pettit has a great move. He picks 10 or 12 runners off every year. It's very difficult to get a jump on him. We know that Sean Green can run, stole 35 last year, has 20 this year. But you're talking about Delgado, something I was really surprised at. Boomer, reading the paper today, what's going on up here in Toronto with Gord Ash, the general manager, and Jim Fregosi. Some headbutting a little bit with coaches. Fregosi's always chosen his coaching staff, and Gord Ash is self-appointed like 5 different coaches on this ball club. And Fregosi stripped Delgado of his captaincy of the ball club.
Left field, it's Ricky Leday will squeeze it. The Jays strand a runner, so we played one here north of the border. The Yankees won, the Jays a donut.
Studio, the Mets and the Rockies. New York chasing Atlanta 2 games behind the Braves as play begins tonight. All tied up in the 8th inning. Darryl Hamilton, the former Rocky, passed Larry Walker, who's playing with a bad knee. Robin Ventura playing with a sore ankle. He injured it last night, but he looks good here, scoring all the way from first. The Mets add another and now lead at 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th.
Mets, I tell you what, Billy, thank you, as we are 1-0 Yankees over Blue Jays here in the top of the 2nd. Tino Martinez swinging at the first pitch. Remember, he was at the plate when Paul O'Neill was gunned out trying to steal, so he gets another at bat, but there is one out. I just want to throw this in. Just seeing the Mets come from behind, you know, and the Reds, all 5 teams, but especially you take a look at the way Arizona and Houston have played. There is no assurance that the winner of the East, Mets or Braves, they might have the 3rd best record for the seeds. I mean, that's going to go right to the end for the seeding, however it pans out, and wherever the Reds, Mets, however the wild card settles in. It's not like, okay, you win this division, you're the #1 seed. That's tight.
It's the best, obviously the best race without saying over the last probably 10 years, but probably the best 6 clubs that are matched up. And it's going to be a heck of a playoff. And as you say, you know, right now you think the Braves because of their pitching, but Arizona, they go out every night and somebody throws a great game.
For example, Ray, in the loss column, Atlanta 55, Houston 56, Arizona 57, Mets 57, Cincy 59. I mean, that's tight. That is really tight. And I'll tell you something else. The Reds went 9-1 and lost ground. The Giants have gone 20-6 and lost a half a game. Come on.
Hey, your Giants they just got a little too far behind there in August.
Well, that 3-game series in Florida where they blew those 4-run leads 3 times. But I mean, 20-6 and lose ground and 9-1 and lose ground, that hurts. At any rate, back here, we're 1-2 to Chili Davis. A weak swing, didn't stay in front of that. Well, Chili's had a big year, hasn't he? What a great start he had, too. The grand slam, opening home game this year to win it. After being injured all last year. What you're looking at here is Sammy Sosa playing. That's at the Reds. And we're still looking to see if tonight could be the night for number 60. So we will keep you here in Toronto, but you can enjoy the fourth inning. And obviously Sosa, I don't know what he did, but we know he didn't hit a homer in the first inning. So his second at bat, he singled in his first at bat. Information, we're north of the border. It comes, it's got to get through customs to get some of the info. But, I just, and it could still happen, but I don't think they get to 70. I think it's mid-60s and we'll see.
They're both going to get hot again, but you're running out of time. And last night I actually telestrated both Sammy and Mark McGwire, and they both, they're showing signs of wear and tear.
2-year wear and tear.
2-year wear and tear. You're not kidding. They're really rushing with the body. Sammy's pulling off the ball with his left shoulder. Tonight, I've watched both of his at-bats.
Nice high fastball by Henkin. The Chile tip back into the glove. Henkin really mixed him up there a little bit, didn't he, Ray?
He did, and that's what Henkin has to do, is throw that slow changeup and then come back with a fastball elevated, which he hasn't really done a lot of this year. Getting back to Sammy, there you see him out front of a pitch. And look how he's just all spent. His left side is gone. He's just not letting the ball get to him. Now, Nagel has a great changeup.
Ricky Leday looks at strike one from Pat Henkin as you watch Sosa in the bottom right. You know what else? Both teams are way out of it. And they really come to the park. Can you hit a home run? You're not involved in doing the little things and moving a runner over and this and that and trying to win a game 6-5 that might get you in a pen. It's got to wear on him too, don't you think?
Well, it wears on you because the pennant race just gives that added adrenaline, and you don't have a lot of thought process. You just come to the ballpark, you're pumped up. You don't have to get pumped up to go out and play. Sammy had that last year, and for a while I thought that he might outrace McGwire to the record because of that, especially when he got hot in August and September because of that pennant race, and because there is a difference.
Leday with a smooth swing to center, but Jose Cruz is there at a 1-2-3 second inning for Pat Henkin. So Sosa popped out in Cincinnati. Leday flies out here in Toronto. We're global, and we're back. Back in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Bottom of the second inning, the Sky Dome, the home of the back-to-back championship Toronto Blue Jays in 92 and 93. And Ray, had that team been in America, and you're looking at a man at the plate, Tony Fernandez, who was a member of it. Had that team been in America, they were very well respected anyway, but this was one of the most solid, fun, all-around teams. I mean, they were not the burly guys hitting balls, but they had the big home run hitters. They had the Joe Carter. They had, defense with Devon White in center and Tony Fernandez, and they had obviously outstanding pitching, bringing in a lot of the big names throughout their run in those couple of years, and of course Ward to Henke in the bullpen to finish it up. They had Roberto Alomar, one of the most exciting players in the league. They had guys coming off the bench, Candy. They were a team that could beat you in a lot of ways. They were really a fun team.
They were a fun team. They were a very exciting team. A team that had speed, had power, had, as you say, solid pitching.
Olerud at first. Jim knows. He was here when Joe Carter hit the homer. Right here. Yes, not sitting right. Same seat, other side of the field. Tough hop for Jeter. Over to Tino. Tony Fernandez is gone. When we're done with our double dip tonight, Sports Center at 1:30 after the pair of games. And a reminder that Sports Center now, football season, we begin at 6 o'clock. The early show is 6 to 7 Eastern. And we will see you every Friday night with the Schwab. I started on Thursday this year just to get a jump on the season. I was 1-4. I'm going back to Friday, man. That Thursday's just not for me. We're going back to Friday. 1-4. That's like coming out of the garage sideways, knocking over the garbage cans, trying to leave the garage. Long run for Tino Martinez. That's a pretty play. Tino retires the shortstop, Tony Batista, in a nice run.
Well, a lot of people forget as we talk about Andy Pettit earlier and how he struggled this year, look at this play here first, though. Just running full tilt away. This is not that difficult a play. I always like to make that play playing first to third. All you got to do is get there, and you're running along with the ball, and it seems to be a lot easier to judge it going that way as opposed to coming in on it. It always looks tough, and it looks pretty, but it's not that difficult for a major league player. But Andy Pettit, second only to John Smoltz the last 3 years in win. John Smoltz winning 56 games, 96, 97, 98. And your man right there, Andy Pettit, winning 55, going 21-8, 18-7, and 16-11.
The man he is pitching to was the catcher on those Blue Jays teams we were talking about, an unsung member of that team, Pat Borders. And one of my favorite nights in covering baseball, and you and I were together here at this game because it was a Tuesday night, the first World Series game ever held out in the United States. They had the unfortunate incident, you know, certainly not on purpose, with the Canadian flag upside down in Atlanta, Game 2. And all of Canada, they were not annoyed. They were just swelling with national pride. And it was an all-Canadian battery that night. It was Juan Canadian Guzman pitching to Pat north of the borders. And they sang "Oh Canada," and we believe it was the country singer from out on the prairies, Michelle Wright. And it was, you could just feel, it was just, the whole country was just so darn proud. Not, "We'll get you, America," the flag was up there. There was none of that. It was a wonderful night. And that was, remember that game? Alomar started the night, the base hit, Maldonado won it. Set the game, Devo made the catch on Otis Nixon. Was that game?
It may have been.
It was either that one or the next one. I'm getting, that was excellent. Excellent series. Jays and Braves. Borders was the catcher. Fernandez was not back yet. He came back in '93.
Yeah, they had Kelly Gruber playing third base for them then. But, you know,
Fettuccine Alfredo came back in another life.
Yes, he did.
Olerud was at first, and Alomar at second, and Borders behind the plate, and Devon White and Joe Carter. I mean, they're pretty good. This just did.
Winfield.
Yeah, he had a big hit.
That was the year after. That was the year after.
They all came through. Morris and Cone and Stewart.
Anyway, they were very good.
They were good.
All those names were.
That was fun up here. A lot of fun. Young Pat Hankins was starter in '93. Jeter. Over to Tino while we talk about old Jays like Fernandez and Borders. Pettit makes them look like old Jays and gets them out. 1-0 New York. Top of the third, and young D'Angelo Jimenez. He hits a base hit. So Jimenez, welcome to the majors. First ball hit in the game, right at him, get the ball. This is always so much fun, isn't it?
It is. The worst thing that you can do as a pitcher is throw a fastball. My first at bat, Larry Hardy threw me 3 sliders.
Look at this now, Gene Monahan. Now he's going to formaldehyde it. Look at Gino. Longtime trainer of the Yankees. He's going to spray it, ice it up, bandage it. This is going where it's going to be hermetically sealed. Let's see what they do with this. Now we're going to dunk it over here, and then we're going to rub it up. Right in here. Wait a minute. Goes with my carrying case. Goes with my violin case. This is interesting. There it is. Lock it. Don't you guys get near it. You know the guys are going to play with it. You know they're going to.
They won't touch it.
There is a lot of respect.
That much reverence.
I didn't mean to cut you off with you, but I've never seen actually where it went. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, they don't do anything special to it.
Kind of like a swing. Look at this play. This is going to be a backwards double play. Something the Jays could not execute last night in a different situation. Pat Hankin did a good thing there. Made it look like he was going to catch it and then turn the double play.
He surely did. Simply, on AstroTurf, this play should be executed a lot more than it really is because you have to respect the double play. Anytime the ball goes in the air, you have to hold your ground. There you see the young player going back there, and he has to do that. Once the ball hits the ground, then he takes off. He made one step committed, but he's still dead out. Once you're inside that dirt box there, on that ball, committed to not getting picked off, it's automatic double play. Great job by Pat Hankin there by not even trapping the ball, just letting it bounce and deking a little bit as if he was going to catch it.
Well, and Jimenez, I mean, there's nothing he could do about it, right?
Nothing he could do about it. Just a bad bunt. That's what happens when you make bad bunts.
So the base is clear, and the top of the order is Chuck Knobloch, and the count is 1-1. Hickey with that nice kick. In there for strike 2. The home plate umpire tonight is Jim McKean, the veteran. Of course, you're seeing all the mixed crews. Mike Life of Riley is the umpire at first. Chuck Merriweather at second. And Lazaro Diaz, a new umpire who was blistered last night by Fregosi and Billy Koch for some calls that they did not get just prior to taking Koch out of the game and then bringing in Spoljarek and then O'Neill hitting the grand slam. And so, but we've seen him before. Man, he was the one. Did we have him in Detroit? Remember, it was a hot night and one of the more built.
We may
right?
have.
We've seen him. Yeah. It's not just we've seen him as vacation relief already. I think you and I have. Ripped by Knobloch to Tony Batista. It's short, and Batista to Delgado. And a ball, a 7-pitch inning for Pat Hinkton. Middle of the third, Yankees 1, Jays nothing.
I'll be at the office.
Right here at Skydome, a park that really was ahead of itself as far as comfort for fans and different way to watch the game. I mean, this was the first of not so much this style with the roof, which is just a beautiful scene. I mean, you've never seen this. I mean, it's like pictures of that Sydney, the Symphony building. But this was the first of, you know what? Let's step up the comforts. And the fans really responded. Of course, they had great teams. They went hand in hand.
I was going to say, as you were talking about the Blue Jays before, with all the stuff going on in Montreal, I think the owners are meeting this week, if not today, about what they're going to do with that situation up there. This town has always embraced baseball from the very get-go. Montreal never really did. Even those great clubs back in the 70s and 80s.
Jose Cruz. Cruz is one to left, but Ricky Leday may have hurt himself in making a fine catch. Well, that's a tough part of the wall because it's not flat out there, Ray.
Well, I think every ballpark should be padded in the outfield. I don't like, and the reason this is not is because they have the bullpen in right and left field. But I hate that Hercules-type fence out there because you can get your cleat caught in it, your finger caught in it, and here you go right there on one of those steel braces right there. No give to that. The edges are padded a little bit, but I don't think any ballpark with the money that these guys are making and their value should have any type of fence on the inside part of the field. That was a great play. I mean, I'm thinking about the fence, and that was a tremendous play. This kid has really come on.
Yes, he has.
In April and May, they talking about him being a bust, that he was just way over-touted and overrated, and he's really begun to show the type swing and pop and defensive ability that they anticipated and thought that he had.
They're waiting for somebody. Shane Spencer didn't do it. Curtis didn't really do it. Strawberry had his own problems, although there's Shane. Straw is back now. Talked with Straw before the game. And squirts out of the glove of Paul O'Neill. So Homer Bush sends a little sinker to right that his ex-teammate Paul O'Neill cannot quite handle.
I don't think Paul saw this ball.
Brumfield, I'm sorry.
I don't think he saw this ball, Garrett. See right here, he's moving in there, and he's not really, he could have had two or three more steps there. I think he had a tough time picking that ball either off the bat or from the fans. He started to lie down there 2 or 3 steps before he had to.
The carpet's nice out there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, this is a real spongy carpet. I was going to say that earlier. You hit the ball off this carpet, and the ball just really bounds through the infield, as evidence of that high hop earlier with Knobloch not turning that double play.
Well, here is Homer Bush. He leads off. Brumfield is the ninth batter. O'Neill dropped one last night, too. So we saw Fernandez, boot one in the ninth and then boot one early here. O'Neill, who homered, grand slam, hit the only RBI tonight, but he's also dropped 2. Sometimes it does continue. Look at Knobloch. Although, if you're going to fumble it, you might as well kind of keep the puck in front of you, and move it on over to first base.
Well, I've seen Chuck Knobloch make errors all year long, and it always seems to be on the ball in front of him from second base. You have to remember, when he played at Texas A&M, he was a shortstop, and he came and got everything. Here he's coming to get this ball, getting the ball in between hops. He does not read hops well, and I'm saying this because I've watched him time and time and time again. You want to catch the ball at the top of the hop or the bottom of the hop. At second base, you've got all that time, all that room in order to do that. Knobloch consistently catches the ball in the bad part of the hop.
Brian McRae singled. He was out on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Brumfield, the runner at second base. The Jays looking for a safety that will knot the game. Jays can move now. I mean, they can run. They get pretty good speed on the base pass. They don't have a lot of pop except for the big guys, Green and Delgado. In the lineup 1 through 9 will strike fear through you like a lot of the lineups in the American League.
Well, when they had Shannon Stewart in there, they have really 3 guys that can steal 35, 40 bases. With Homer Bush, who has 29. Sean Green has stolen 35 before. He has 20 this year. And Shannon, as you mentioned, leading the league with 37.
Yeah, tied for the lead with Robbie, I think. Or Vizquel. They're all right around there. The upper two. Know that. Vizquel is 37 and Robbie is 36. Brian McRae came over from Colorado on August the 9th. Nats, Colorado, here. Well, they got McRae. Remember, they got David Segui, who immediately broke his bone in his hand or hurt his hand at first.
Curtis Goodwin.
Yeah, I mean, they made a lot of moves that are not of a huge variety, but they thought that would improve their ball club right when they were getting hot.
That pitch right there is what Pettit has not been able to do this year. 91-mile-an-hour fastball, 3-1 count, hitter advantage, comes back with a really sizzling fastball, his best fastball on the night, located on the outside part of the plate. When he's there, that shows you why he's second to John Smoltz in wins over the last 3 years.
That is definitely outside, and now the Jays have 2 runners for the big guys, Sean Green and Carlos Delgado. And speaking of big guys, Billy Pito, what do you have?
Here's what we have, Chris. We got Boston and Cleveland. Jose Offerman went 4 for 4 last night. His average is at .295. And here with a man on in the third, scoreless game, over the wall for his 7th home run of the year. And Boston now leads the Indians 2-0. Still batting in the top of the third.
All right, Billy, thank you. And that's with Pedro. And talking to the Yankees about the game that Pedro pitched with the 17 strikeouts, I mean, Joe Torre said, we'd beat a perfect game. So you can say, was it better pitched than a perfect game? Well, not really. But as far as power, O'Neill and Jeter and those guys are saying, it was untouched.
There's only one guy like him. Randy Johnson's the only guy that can shut you down the way this man can. You saw in the All-Star game, he's got the greatest hitters in the game. And he just blew them away. I mean,
here is one of them. You got Sosa as he's up again, right? He did blow them away. 5 strikeouts. Now they get Sean Green to ground a Knobloch. They had the big guys up with some ducks on the pond. But Sean Green has grounded out, and so we have played 3 here at Toronto. 1-0 Yankees, and more bonus coverage with Sammy Sosa.
2-0. This has all the markings of the old unintentional intentional walk, because he's missed by a wide margin first 2 pitches.
A 2-0. Nowhere near. It's 3-0.
I would assume Jack McKeon would just put him on.
And that is exactly what will happen. So Sosa will be intentionally passed here. And they'll take their chances with Hill. And you hear the reaction of the crowd in Cincinnati.
It's a standing boo for the Cincinnati.
So Sosa 1 for 2, and then add that intentional walk. Still at 59 homers. We'll get you back to Toronto after this.
Chris Berman, Ray Knight with you in Canada tonight for the rubber game of this 3-game series. 2-1 Toronto behind David Wells on Monday night. 10-6 the Yankees last night on pair of grand slams, and 1 pitch, 1 out. Derek Jeter, who now has 565 at-bats this year, Ray, grounds out, so he is 0 for 2. Paul O'Neill coming up the wild card standings. So Boston leading on Offerman's home run. So Oakland lost last night. They're 3 out. And the Jays are 6.5 out. And as we said at the beginning, Jim Fregosi telling me, we're pretty much at the point where we can't afford. We almost have to go 1,000 baseball, which is not realistic with 3 weeks to go, but we don't have much margin for error. Toronto plays 3 at Boston in the middle of next week, but that's pretty much it, Ray. They do finish with the White Sox, then Boston, and then here's the bad news, even worse. They got 6 left with Cleveland.
They got no chance. It's just that simple. They've got no chance. Last night's game broke their back, put a dagger in their heart. They made runs earlier. When we were last year, they were only 2 games out. And now they've got 2 teams in front of them, and it's a difference, when you have 2 teams. One team ahead of you, you've got a chance to make up 5 or 6 games, but 2, it's like having 12 games behind.
1-1 the count to Paul O'Neill, who was driven in the only run of the game with a base hit in the first inning.
Miracles can happen, but they're done.
Probably. Well, you got to figure, Ray, 6.5 out in the standings.
It's 16 to play. That means somebody's going to have to. I mean, if somebody plays 500 ball, then they're going to have to win at least 12 and 4.
So all they got to live 16. I guess they do,
16 games.
Well, the value, you see, Canadian currency is 6.5 games. You're really like 8 out if you use the exchange rate.
That doesn't even get it. 12 and 4, like you say.
No, that's
right. They're going to have to go 14 and 2 if one of these teams go 8 and 8.
Well, and of those 14, 3 of them have to be the 3 at Boston.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
I mean, there's not an option.
No,
in that.
They've got to sweep Boston.
2-2 the count to Paul O'Neill. What does this do for the Yankees' psyche that they're looking over their shoulder to try to win the division?
Well, I think it's more fun playing. When you get those big leads, it's great. But and what it does too, it makes you, it enables you to rest your players, get your bullpen just right. But as far as competitiveness and as far as that feeling to come in the ballpark, it's always nice to be in a pennant race. I've had it both ways.
O'Neill drives it pretty well to center field, but gets under it just a tad, and Jose Cruz. Cruz is over to pretty deep center to 2 out.
In '79, we didn't clinch the pennant with the Reds, and we didn't clinch our division until 2 days in the season, remaining in the season over the Dodgers. And that whole year, from about July on, every game was really crucial because Houston was playing well and Dodgers were playing well. And then every year after that, we were either first or second, always in a pennant race. Then I go to New York, in a pennant race for 2 years there, in '84 when I got traded over there. 85 in a pennant race, 84 the Cardinals, 85 the Cubs, and 86 we won that thing by 19.5 games, and by mid-June there was nothing to go for but personal stats.
Yeah, but you ended up winning the World Series is my point, as the Yankees did last year, and Bernie Williams fouls a lot of play. Well, there's no correct answer. Well, is it good to play hard for 6 months, or is it?
I'm talking about fun to play. Mm-hmm. It is more fun to play when the game is on the line. When every base hit you make, for me, a ground ball hit to me with a runner on second base and 2 outs, when it's critical, you just have that upscaled or that lifted awareness, and I like playing that way. I mean, you go home with satisfaction when you bunt a guy over. It means something in a ball game when you're a game or 2 in first place. All the little things, hitting runs, turning double plays, making the cutoffs. I mean, what baseball is all about. When you got a 20-game lead, you just go out there and freewheel, and all of a sudden, like the Yankees last year, becomes a 30-game lead. I mean, you're just freewheeling it. So it's easy to play when you're out in front.
One thing, though, Ed, you agree, and we'll move back here, is that...
I don't know if I do or not.
No, you do agree that the Yankees... No, they had the big lead last year, but they still had fun trying to do the little things and win every game. Of course, that's hard to do every year with the 20.
Well, that's why everybody respected them so much, because not too many times you see
You do agree with me.
I do agree with you. I do, definitely.
High and tight to Bernie. Full count.
Don't take too many things for granted.
No, I know what you're. Look, I've worked with you how many years now? 10?
Long 10 years.
10?
10 years.
Plus, I've interviewed you for 10 years before that.
Yeah.
I mean,
We go
I
along
I
with
think
it.
I know where you're going to be with me, and I think there are other subjects that I know where I better check.
That's
with you
why you
first.
dub me Knight, right?
There you go. Amen, brother. Bernie Williams won the batting title, of course, last year in the American League, and it was not out of the realm that he could win it again. Although he has fallen now 13 points off the pace. At 337 going into the game, and it's a ground ball. Nice backhand play and an AstroTurf throw by the one-time Yankee, Homer Bush. Very nice. A 1-2-3 inning for Pat Henkin. 1-0 Yankees.
I'm Roland Gart.
Back in Toronto, Chris Berman and Ray. And I thought I should dress kind of royally, a little royal blue.
You are
tonight.
sweet tonight.
I don't know if this is Canadian, mounted police look, but I just thought, I don't know, I like it up here.
Nice up here too.
Chill in the air. 19 degrees, Ray, at game time.
What?
Celsius. It's about 66. But they said, and I don't believe so, I think in the suburbs tonight, they're claiming it could go into single digits tonight.
Oh, yeah.
9 Celsius, which would be, what would that be? That would be dipping below 50. A little frost on the strawberries and blueberries, eh?
I always heard you double it and add 20. Is that right?
No, it's just about it. It's whatever it is. No, I'm going to tell you how to do it. I mean, it's Carlos Delgado with the push.
Well, I played in Three Rivers for 2 years, and they said just double it and add 20, so that's close enough for me.
What it is theoretically, every 20, it's 32. Here it is. It's 32 plus 9/5 times whatever it is. But here's the easy way to do it. Well, here's the easier way to do it. Back. This ball is gone. It's 30 Celsius.
You could have added a couple more backs.
That ball is out. '44th home run for Carlos Delgado. One off the American League lead. It's a good thing the roof was open.
Good thing we ducked under here to look at the flight of this ball. Look at Delgado looking at it. It doesn't go out very much, but that ball went straight up. I mean straight up. Look at the outfielder getting back to the wall. Look how long he waits. The ball over there about 10 feet, but O'Neill running back there at 30, 35 feet and still peering up at it.
Tony Fernandez, not quite the same lumber as Delgado, and that's handled by Bernie Williams in center field. That ball, that was like a skied 7-wood that never came down,
Well, I never saw it. We're right we're under the side here, but you can see the top of the roof, and I ducked down to look at it, and I could not find the ball. And then I saw the outfielder and looked back at him. I said, well, maybe that's a pop-up. That ball's hit so high.
.44 home runs for Carlos Delgado. Now, I mean, nationally, or around baseball, how many people know that Carlos Delgado has 44 home runs? Honestly.
Oh, not very
right?
many. Not very many. And not very many know that he's second in all of baseball in runs produced this year.
133 RBIs. That's third in the league.
And runs scored over 100. 110 actually. Only Ramirez has scored and driven in more runs than Carlos Delgado.
Now, you started to talk about, well, let me just finish this. Every 10 degrees, you add 18. 32 plus if it's 10 Celsius, 32 and 18, 50. If it's 20 Celsius, 32 and 18 and 18, 68. Every 10, it's like 18. Over, plus 32. All right, just if anyone's sitting at home. Now that we finish that. Delgado, captain, but that changed. You want to finish that story?
Yeah, I do. I talked about Fregosi and Gord Ash, the general manager here, having some problems or at least butting heads about coaches. In the past, Fregosi has always gone out and hired his own coaches. This is the 4th time that he's gotten a job during the season, and each time he's gone and named coaches. In one particular place, he wiped out everybody and added 5 coaches. Here he added Terry Bevington. Bevington is the only guy who was able to add to the staff. Everybody else is Gord Ash's pick. Tying into that is that he made a decision a little while ago to take the captaincy away from Carlos Delgado because he wasn't sure that he exemplified what Fregosi looks for in a captain. And basically what he means is Delgado, a very young man, hits the ball extremely well. There's been some talk about his defensive preparation, how he gets to the ballpark late, and Fregosi doesn't like that. He basically thinks that in his day,
ball 4, not strike 3 range. Batista wants.
In his day, the players that were the captains were always the older ball players and knew how to play. Set example coming to the ballpark. Jim Fregosi himself, the captain of the California Angels. But I was really surprised to see that because Delgado was named captain by Tim Johnson. And to have your best hitter or most powerful hitter and maybe your most dominant player in the clubhouse stripped of that, I can feel some things brewing here.
Oh, what's brewing is the Jays have tied it. Go-ahead run is it. Now the ball gets past Girardi. Batista to second makes the turn. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position.
Borders bunting for a base hit there with the young third baseman back deep. And what happens, this gets in the eyes of Girardi there. Actually, it did not. What happened, he came up out of his stance. Look at him coming up here out of the stance, thinking about covering the bunt. As soon as he saw Borders square, he's thinking about covering the bunt, comes up out of his stance, the ball gets underneath him.
Rip the right at Jeter. Jeter obviously alive. Batista back to second over to Martinez. Borders is gone. 2 out. Never out. The Jack. Bill Pito.
All right, Chris, we got the Reds and the Cubs, and we have Greg Vaughn. What a September he's had. Right here, he's going to drill one deep to left. His 39th home run of the year. He also had an RBI single in the first, and the Reds 4 games behind Houston lead the Cubs 5-2. Mets beat Colorado 10-5, so they now lead the Reds by 3 games for the wild card.
It's hard to imagine the Reds playing any better, and they're just swimming against the tide when it comes to the Mets and the Astros. This ball's hit in the gap to right center. Jose Cruz has driven in Batista and has a double for himself. So the Blue Jays, extra base hits here. A couple of them here in the 4th, and they've taken the lead over the Yankees.
Jose Cruz much maligned for trying to pull the ball tonight. 2 rockets to right field, right center field there. That's what's going to make him a good hitter. I still believe this young man is going to be a factor offensively in the American League. Hitting just .228 this year, coming in, well, again, a lot of fanfare like Ricky Leday up there in Seattle being traded. And Toronto just giving up on him a couple of months ago, as you mentioned, acquiring Curtis Goodwin and McRae and this young kid Vernon Wells.
Now that'll bring up Jacob Brumfield, the 9-hitter. Singled his first time up, was left aboard. Pitches inside by Pettit. Now you're right. I mean, Cruz came in big time with Seattle. But we'll see him. He's still young. Now, wild pitch, of course, cost them a run. Being ground rule, the runner would have had to go back, although it's conceivable that the ump would have said that he was enough around third, but I don't think so. Had he been on first base, you never would have known. No wild pitch. Be runners at second and third. We won 1 game.
The umpire doesn't have that choice. It's only when there's interference.
Right, that's right.
The ball bounces over the fence. And He just has to go back to third.
I knew that. I forgot that.
You were just
I was
testing
just
me.
figuring. I was just
testing me.
still working on that Celsius for you. 18 every 10. Just remember that. Slow pitch by Pettit. Andy has really pitched, although he's lost his last 2 decisions since the non-trade at the trade deadline. He went 5-1 right away. He's lost his last 2 decisions. But by the way, the last one was Pedro Friday night when he pitched okay. So he's pitched better since he knew that he wasn't going to be traded. 5-3 since July 31st, 7-8 before that. But in this inning, he's given up a home run. He's given up a double. He's walked a couple. And now Brumfield, you walk the number 9 hitter to get to the top of the order. Admittedly, there are 2 out, but now a force all around as Homer Bush comes up. Yankees really liked him last year. I mean, as a guy, I mean, hardly played. But he had that one big hit in that game we did, wasn't it? He won.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
I liked him, too. He does so many things well. You saw the great range that he has at second base. And
oh, this is ripped. They were playing in center field, and he fooled his old teammate, Bernie Williams. This is going to score a pair. Bush is thinking about 3. Now he'll stop. The 3rd extra base hit of the 4th inning, and the Blue Jays have opened up a 4-1 lead. Bernie was shallow, Ray, and he had no chance at it where he was positioned.
you're right, Bernie got burnt. They know Homer Bush. They know he doesn't have a lot of power, but this ball is driven. He is strong. He just doesn't get the ball up in the air much. This was a line drive bullet about 25 feet high. Nowhere near deep enough. You've got to be able to get back to where that ball is going to hit the turf. You got to respect a man's power. The hardest line drive that he can possibly hit, you're able to get back to that ball 4 or 5 steps. There he took 3 steps. The ball was on the carpet. Just playing too shallow.
So the 8th Blue Jay batter will be Brian McRae. Singled and walked. Now with 4 runs and 5 hits. The Yankees just 1 run on 2 hits. There goes the runner to third. Bush has stolen third base. And here's a guy, Andy Pettit, known for the pickoff moves. Not just forget.
Not to second. Doesn't have a great move to second. But what has happened, and this is where I really like Jim Fregosi. Whenever there are rattling things that happen, whether it's an error, whether it's a miscue, whether it's a couple of base hits, you take advantage of the fact, and it is a fact, the pitcher's concentration is going to wane. Make something happen. Start the runners. He'll be slow to the plate because he's thinking about that last ball that was hit.
Ray, stolen base number 30 by Bush this year. So he's a 300 hitter, 330 stolen bases. Good playing in second base. He's a big pickup in that trade.
It's a great trade for Toronto. I felt all along getting David Wells, who's won 14 games for them, beat the Yankees night before last. Bush, an everyday player, Graham Lloyd, serviceable left-hander that the Yankees have missed this year.
Headed up high and outside. There's Graham Lloyd, the Aussie. He, as much as anyone, of course, David Wells got a huge ovation when he came back to the Yankees. Remember the ovation they gave Lloyd when he came in to pitch the first time at Toronto? Remember, he was in that scrap that he was the key combatant in that Orioles scrap?
Yeah, he threw that big left-handed hook from down around Sydney.
He came flying. Yeah, he did. I think that was a barrier reef job.
Yeah.
Good guy. Always spoke with him a little bit before the game. Looks like a reliever. Now, where are the Burns now? I mean, it's almost like pointing right to home plate, those sideburns. I think. Maybe to the land down under. Men at work. Red Sox continue to lead 2-0 in Cleveland. We'll keep you posted behind Pedro. Yankees all of a sudden, you know, that charge that they held off last night with the big events, well, they may be looking at another kind of evening. Boston ahead. They got to come up with something. 2-2 pitch to Brian McRae. Wakes him to three. A lot of pitches this inning for Andy.
Well, they're right there. That's the pitch we're talking about, that cutter. 25 pitches this inning that he seems to go to in crunch time. There's an old baseball adage. You throw 3-2 what you believe you can throw 2-2. We threw a cutter. Let's see what he does.
Well, that was close. Andy thought he might have had the inside corner, but now he has the ninth batter, a guy he's handled tonight. But it's Sean Green, the ever-dangerous Sean Green, with runners at the corners. Third walk, the first two have scored this inning, right?
Yeah, here's a fastball here, just up in the strike zone, just a tad. Andy not liking it, responding with a little flip of his left hand there. But I believe that he has always been a fastball pitcher first and throws that cutter when he gets people to cheating on the fastball. He's kind of reversed that a little bit, throwing a lot of cutters. Been addressed by Mel Stottlemyre.
All-star right fielder Sean Green. There's really nobody throwing, right? There's nothing happening
I'm a little surprised that there's no visit from Torrey Orst.
There's nobody even up.
Or Stottlemyre. I mean, this may be a statement. Sometimes managers, when they feel a pitcher is not thinking on the mound, not doing what he should do, carrying out what the game plan is, they just say, hey, go ahead and do it your way. And I'm not saying that's not what's happening here, but obviously, with all this going on in this inning, Mel Stottlemyre generally would be going out there and saying, hey, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, slow down a little bit. Nobody's been out there at all.
Don't forget, you know who's on deck is the guy that began the inning with that rainmaker, Carlos Delgado. Little note on both Delgado and Green. Only 12 players in Major League history have had a season of at least 40 doubles, at least 40 homers, and at least 100 RBIs. Green needs only one more homer, and he joins the club. 2 doubles for Delgado. He's in the club. No teammates have ever done that. 40 homers, 40 doubles, 100 RBIs. Of course, the numbers are different now, but still. Just for a minute.
That's a good pitch. That's a good pitch. You've got to have that pitch there if you're Andy Pettitte. That's his go-to pitch. He thinks that's his go-to pitch. 2-2, breaking ball, starts right inside corner. Look where that ball finishes, on the outside part of the plate. There's no way that ball is going to break 17 inches. So somewhere in there it had to get the plate.
2-2 the count with 2 outs. And Pettitte will keep an eye on Brian McRae. Real quickly, here are the guys that have done it. 40 homers, 40 doubles, 100 RBIs. Gehrig 3 times, Babe Ruth, Chuck Klein, Albert Bell, Hank Greenberg twice each, Hal Trosky, Willie Stargell, Rogers Hornsby, Jeff Bagwell, Ellis Burks, Juan Gonzalez, Harry Walker once each. Pretty good numbers. Pettitte comes in with the big pitch to strike out Sean Green, but not until Delgado got it going with a rainmaker, his 44th. When all was done, a 4th spot for the Jays.
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Old Spice High Endurance Deodorant and Antiperspirant. Powerful protection for men.
Welcome back in Toronto, where the Yankees, who came from behind 6-1 last night, now are looking at a 4-1 deficit here in the 5th. Chris Berman, Ray Knight, glad you're enjoying our doubleheader of baseball here on Wednesday. Our later game, the Pirates at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tino Martinez fouls it up. Those of you watching ESPN2 will get the Braves at the Padres. John Smoltz against Matt Clement. The Pirates Diamondback game. I saw the Bucs Showalter had pulled back Randy Johnson for 3 days. He says he won't go till Saturday. So, we're going to pitch somebody else, Reynoso. I mean, oh, by the way, here's a quality pitcher who's not even in the rotation.
Yeah.
And Randy with his 335 Ks will go on Saturday. So it doesn't look like he'll get to Nolan Ryan's 383, but He'll be up there. And speaking of up there, this is back. Gone. Tino Martinez. He homers every game I do. We joked about it before the game. I said, you're good for a homer tonight.
He does.
Every game. He's automatic. 25 for Tino. So O'Neill got going, Bernie got going, and here's the 5 spot. Tino getting going.
Well, this is the right time for them to get going. Fastball, Hinkin with a 3-run lead, going right at him, challenging him. Tino always been a great hitter. I remember when Don Mattingly retired there and they acquired Tino, and he said, don't compare me to Don Mattingly, and he was a little concerned about that, and he's put up numbers that Don Mattingly would be proud of.
So the Yankees answer the Jays' 4th spot with a long ball of their own. Will lead off the 5th as Delgado led off the bottom of the 4th. Here's one thing the Yankees haven't done with us, Ray. You and me. Well, you weren't with me at all. By the way, I did get reminded of this by Chili, naturally, before the game. Because you're not our best friend. I mean, we love you. I said, what do you mean? Remember you said this in Detroit? They're already fine.
I know.
Done with that game. I believe it. They lost in Detroit that game we did. So, a lot of things working here. Maybe we'll just let the game play out. Chili jumped all over me with it. Oh, God, not you. Tina goes, great, you're here. Can't win, right?
Hey, just like somebody's going to be happy when they see you, and somebody's going to be sad.
Right.
Hey.
So if your family are the happy ones, you know? Mickey Mantle, Eddie Murray. Oh, look at this check swing from Chili. The pool cue shot down the left field line. Brumfield going to come up throwing. And Chili Davis is going to get into second base with a double. Charles Theodore Davis, 3rd all-time on the switch hit list for home runs, is in there with a double. His 23rd double of the year.
Fastball down and in. Charlie just, as you said, checking the swing, but somewhere around the middle of the baseball. Looked like a line drive if you're sitting down that third baseline.
422 doubles on his career. And so now ripped by Ricky Leday. This will go to the wall. This will score Chili easily. Leday, it's misplayed out there. He's going to try it for 3. Here comes the relay. Not even close. Leday with heads up base running again. Saw the ball was misplayed by Cruz. The combination of Green and Cruz, that's really Cruz's ball to cut it. And the Yankees have pulled to within 1, 4-3.
Chris, you're right. This ball was roped right out there in the right center field. And look at here, right in the middle. But watch what happens. That's right where there's just a little gap in the fence. It's right in the middle. Overrun by Cruz. There, I don't think that had him anyway. Ricky Leday running hard, very good speed right from the get. Good relay, but he's there easily a step or 2. Had that ball carry him straight back to him, he might have had a shot. Triple. This young man is starting to show some spark.
Yeah, he is. So homer, double, triple off Henkin here in the 5th. That'll bring up D'Angelo Jimenez, who, you know, should, I was just going to say, he should retire. That, now freeze that. Batting 1,000 for his career. For the game, for the week, for the month, for the season, and for his career. And guess what?
I don't know.
Oh, man, what's the matter with him? Jose Cruz makes the play that time, and Leday has to go back. What's the matter with him? His average has dropped 500 points.
He'll never have a larger drop than that.
And he'll never get to 1,000 again.
No.
Ever.
Isn't that something about this ball game?
Unbelievable. Now you're seeing Sammy Sosa, who was, what, 1 for 2. This is his 4th time at the plate this game. Sammy's still on 59. McGuire not playing tonight for the Cardinals against the Brewers. So you enjoy the coverage. 2.5 weeks to go in the season. Infield is in and through. Tony Batista. Ray. Girardi gets the base hit, but it looked like Batista had it.
Well, first of all, Chris, we're watching the Sosa thing up there, and we're not going to be able to show you really. Infield in, I think, is the most overplayed thing that defenses do. You've got AstroTurf. You've got good speed on third. One out, he's going to go on contact. But you don't need to be playing 95 feet from home plate. All you have to do is play back about halfway. Think about coming forward to the baseball. Know that the play's in front of you. Then you have some lateral movement. On that particular play right there, he had no chance to move laterally. The ball hit one step to his left. The ball eats him up. I think too many people on AstroTurf play too close. Everybody does. It's ridiculous. I was an infielder, and you just don't have to play that far if you're thinking home.
Knobloch is up. Ball in the dirt from Pat Henkin. Here it is, Ray.
Let's look at it. Look right here. He ends up walking. He's 2-3 steps there. He can be another 4 steps back. That's not a very tough play. That ball's not a tough play. It's just a reactive play like a third baseman. Batista has been a third baseman most of his career. But again, you know, as you saw there, he should have made that play. But he made it tougher by not having another quarter of a second to read it.
So the Yankees are the 4 hits this inning, Ray. This time Batista shovels to Bush to Delgado, the double play. So the Yankees hit for the cycle that inning. A single, a double, a triple, and a home run by that man, number 24, Gino Martinez, his 25th. The comeback began in the 8th last night. It began in the 5th tonight. We are tied in you.
The Indians were in the 4th inning. Sox up 2-zip. Harold Baines, the ground ball to Nomar Garciaparra, tries to backhand it and is charged with an error. Run scores. Cleveland adds another. It's now 2-2 in the top of the 5th.
Harold Baines going to make a contribution for the Indians. I know that's an error by Nomar, but we are tied with Boston and Cleveland, Billy, and tied here now in Skydome. Yankees and Jays 4-4. Chris Berman, Ray Knight. Glad you could join us. So the man that led off the 4th inning with a home run, Carlos Delgado, starts the 5th inning.
And Chris, this is where you really look to Andy Pettitte. Now that your team has put a 3-spot up, got you back in the ball game, this is the inning he must shut down the Toronto Blue Jays.
Breaking ball to Delgado, misses. It's 2-0.
They're not giving him any breaking balls, and I'm just not seeing any breaking balls called for a strike. Now he has a big one. His curveball is big, his slider's big, but he's not getting any calls. And you find some umpires that have a tough time calling breaking balls for strikes.
Jim McKean, the umpire behind the plate. Joe Torre with that watchful eye. McKean's been around a long time.
Yeah, and he's a good one. He's a good one.
It looks like they're equal for both pitchers, but it's a tight zone tonight. At least that's what it appears to us. That one misses at 3-1. The Andy Pettitte lifetime against Toronto, 11-3. Lifetime in this building, 6-1. I mean, that doesn't necessarily carry anything out to the mound with him, but he probably feels good about during the day knowing he's pitching here and stuff like that. Feels good that the Yankees got him off the schneid, but boy, did he work Delgado carefully. Hey, week 2 of the NFL. What an opening week. My goodness, no lead was safe. Jets and Bills, our game on Sunday night at 8:15 following an NFL primetime. Monday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons. How about them Cowboys? Down 35-14. Aikman 5-touchdown pass, so that's ABC's game at 9 Eastern time. Now, Jets, and what a horrible break with Vinny. Bills, who got stomped at the Colts. And Atlanta, I mean, they played a very good Viking team and lost. Only one team. 93 Cowboys, and that's when Emmett held out a couple of games. Only one team. 0-2. Going on to the Super Bowl.
That's getting knocked out pretty early.
So Jets and Bills are 0-1. Atlanta's 0-1. Hart, you can make the playoffs. Bills are 0-3, made the playoffs this year, so the Jets are 0-2. Winning the Super Bowl after an 0-2 start, hard, like done once. So just file that away when you watch those games involved. You figure, it's week 2 of the NFL. Already, a little crunch time in some of the camps. Tony Fernandez, how about him for 3 months, Ray, hitting 400? I mean, it was like, where did it come from?
Well, he's always been able to hit, always been real quiet at the plate, and you know, when he went under, dipped under 400s when he got hurt, and he missed about 3.5, 4 weeks of the season.
285 lifetime hitter.
He makes contact. You talk about him as a young player.
Broken bat, kind of a cue ball that Knobloch has almost basketball hook shot over there. That was a weird bounce. The whole play was weird.
You will never see a softer hit than that.
But Chili's wasn't roped either.
No, but that ball went, let's see, 66, 20, 96 feet.
Celsius.
Watch this ball. Full swing, jam sandwich.
Watch this.
Well, why don't you come up and throw that ball hard, though? See, this is what happens with Knobloch. He just ditches this ball easy. Throw that ball hard. You got him. Doggone it.
So Tony 1 for 3. Yeah, you know,
See what I'm talking about? He's afraid to throw the ball away.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You come up. You can't guide that ball. It's do or die.
Miro Mendoza now throwing for the Yankees in the pen. And as the Jays, who scored 4 in the 4th, now looking to do some more in the 5th. None out, 2 on. Tony Batista, shortstop.
And here is a great example. 5th inning, starting to get into the latter part of the ball game. Tony Batista hitting 6th in their order. 2 right-handed, 3 right-handed bats behind him, not bunting. Jim Fregosi, no thought of bunting.
That stance foul you up as a pitcher. You look in like that. Look at this. This is down the line. A long run for Leday. Makes the catch on the warning track and both runners out. Boy, Leday's played a sharp ball game.
Yeah, and did that ball carry or what? It looked like he was jammed. We looked up here at the ball again. Leday makes a funny route to the ball. And then the ball just continued to hang up. I didn't think he was going to catch it there for a second, but that ball just continued to carry. Look how this ball runs in on him, and he hits the ball a little bit down on the trademark. Leday goes toward the line, then back. That's not a real good route. You should take an angled route to that ball. But I think it fooled him as it fooled me. But I don't have to catch it.
He hit that wall hard there a couple innings ago, too. I don't know if the wrist or more the chest that he hit there.
But tell me, why not bunt in this situation? You got a great bullpen.
No.
There's that play in the 3rd inning when he did hammer that wall. But, you know, you just don't see it anymore. Jim Fregosi over there with the Phillies didn't bunt a lot then. He had all those thumpers.
He had thumpers, and he had guys who were going to get thrown out on the base paths. I mean, that was not exactly Maury Wills running around the bases on those teams.
Lenny Dykstra could run pretty good.
I didn't say nobody.
Right.
But I think of Kruk, Incaviglia, Dalton.
But it doesn't matter who you have on base. If you
Not
put
exactly the 4x100 track team. This one to left. Here comes Leday again. Leday all day for Ricky Leday.
Well, that's that cutter that he likes to throw, and what happens when you can get hitters to thinking away on your fastball or trying to drive the ball to right field, as we've seen Cruz do tonight twice on the breaking ball, then you really become susceptible to the cutter inside. Here it is, right over the top, gets jammed, breaks his bat, leaves it in his hand. That ball moves a good hard 6-7 inches off the plane from middle of the plate in, and you really have to get the bat barrel out front if you're going to do any damage with it. And generally, you hit it foul.
4 fly ball put outs, recorded by Ricky Leday. Jose Cruz, who hit the ball that smashed him into the wall that we just showed you in the 3rd. And an RBI double with 2 out in the 4th.
Cheo Cruz, his dad, teammate, one of my favorite teammates, great player.
Tough year for him, but boy, with the Astros, it's healthier now. And
yeah, he had that heartbeat that was arrhythmia, and he actually stopped his heart, shocked it, got it back in the rhythm, and he's doing really well now. Talked to him last week. And,
there was a very good player that few people knew about.
Yeah.
And 1-1 to his son. Jose, can you see Cruz?
This is really huge. You mentioned starting the inning, putting up 3, tacking back, getting forward 4 ball game. Now this is a huge for Andy Pettit. If he can get out of this inning right here with runners on first and second, nobody out, then he will have a big boost to his confidence.
Try to cross him up with the fastball. Missed a little high and tight, 2-2.
He's got that hat pulled down, doesn't he? Barely can see his eyes. I haven't seen his eyes all night long.
Got him to fish on a ball down and away, and so Pettit lets the first 2 get on and paddles right back, Ray. We're stayed at 4 through 5. Top of the 6th inning, Chris Berman and Ray Knight. First half of our double dip on ESPN. Another double dip on ESPN2. We'll give you those Wednesday games right throughout. We pick them late. All the key ones. Well, we got some great midweek battles looming next week. Mets going into the Braves for 3-game series. Last week of the season, Braves come back to the Mets. The Reds go to the Astros. Here's, just in case something happens, Toronto's at Boston in the middle of next week. I mean, we're doubleheader Tuesday, doubleheader Wednesday for you next week. Bonus coverage here on ESPN. Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, right here in the 6th.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, Chris, we've actually had interdivisional play with teams that matter. In the past, a lot of times those teams will be matched up against someone in the West, East of the West, West in the Central. Now we've got head-to-head matchups. First time in a long time. Little note on Derek Jeter. Looking at his hit totals. In his 4 years in the big leagues, his first year he had 183 hits and 190, 203 last year. He's 196. Definitely going to eclipse the 203. Every year he's gotten more hits. His average has gone from 314 the first year, 291, 324 to 348 this year. Home run production, 10, 10, 19, then 22. And then RBIs, 70, 78, 84, 95. So it's a real sign of a player who, after being in the league 4 years, continues to improve in every offensive category. As that shows, he makes adjustments as pitchers adjust to him.
So Jeter aboard, and that'll bring up O'Neill, Williams, and Martinez. And we told you the doubleheader, Pirates and Diamondbacks tonight. Chris Benson, the youngster, won 10 games for Pittsburgh. He's a pretty good pitcher against Armando Reynoso. That's on ESPN, the original. Braves and Padres on ESPN2 with John Smoltz and Matt Clement. From the Murph, Thorny and Joe Morgan on the ESPN game. Bob Carpenter, Rick Sutcliffe. ESPN2, and then SportsCenter follows at 1:30 a.m. Paul O'Neill singled in a run in the first. Flew out to center in the 4th. Skies this one. You got it, Ray? Oh, we were close.
I needed one of those nets. Not a 50
so you couldn't get that through customs?
No, that first step was a little rough. I'll go about that first step.
You were just talking about the divisional races. You know, Texas hasn't shipped Oakland yet. They got 3 left. It's good. They're playing late. Just in case, I thought I should inform you. Neal swings to that pitch by Yankee. 0-2. Just in case, I thought I should inform you. Diamondbacks and Giants have 3 left.
You can go ahead and put that one to bed, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just reporting the schedule.
Yes, you are.
I made no editorial comment. Did I?
I don't know how editorial this is, but you're dreaming.
Diamondbacks playing great, man. Great pitching every night. Every night for the Diamondbacks. Outside a low to O'Neill. The grand slam that won the game in the ninth last night. The Yankees go from here right into Cleveland. We talk about, you know, the seed's not done in the American League. Although, you know, the way it turns out, and just without getting into it, because we got the tie game, if Boston wins the wild card, okay, i.e. Eastern team, it doesn't matter if Yankees Cleveland are 1-2 or 2-1. Makes no difference for the opening matchups. Boston would play Cleveland. Yankees would play Texas. Wouldn't matter if it stays the way it is today. Texas sick of seeing Yankees. Let's try something else. Henkin inside. Borders took a look down at first. They picked up Pat Borders as kind of a late pennant move just in case. You know, reunited with a pitcher like Henkin. Henkin was pretty thrilled to see a guy that he was so used to throwing to over the years.
Oh yeah. Pat Borders has always been a guy that knows how to call a game, knows how to get his pitcher up, pick him up, make him feel good about himself. You know, and then you don't have to go out there and strain too much. You have somebody that will agree with you and suggest to you. Good time to run here, 2-2.
Nobody going. Oh, that's Rip with hair on it. About 5 rows deep behind first base.
And with a lot of young pitchers, Escobars and Carpenter.
Oh, I think we lost some Labatt's Blue.
Oh, yeah.
You hate when Labatt's Blue or Molson just spills all over the leather.
It doesn't bother me. I've not gotten old enough to drink yet.
Well, the kids are there. The youngster is pretty scared. And that is scary. I hope that youngster is okay.
But the veteran catcher for the young pitchers is essential.
Now we hit a hard one down the left field side. Beware.
Paul O'Neill, you're not going to get him out very often away. If you get him out, you got to bust him inside. He is so aware of the outside part of the plate. His whole hitting setup is off the fastball away. He probably gets as many base hits between short and third and short of the left fielder as any left-hander in the league. And that's why he's been such a great 300 hitter and a great Yankee. Fastball away right here.
Jeter does not go. O'Neill ropes this one to center. Actually get it a little more than I thought. I thought I had a little more mustard on it from where we were sitting. Moving over from left field to make the catch from left center's Brumfield. One out. Here's Billy.
All right, Chris, Boston's gone up in front of Cleveland. It's a 2-2 game. Jose Offerman, who earlier hit a 2-run home run. On this play here in the 5th with 1 out, he's going to ground out, but Bears comes in to score, and it's 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
Jose Offerman, for someone that came in like Stan Pappy, and I mean that was the guy that they got for Bill Lee. I mean they just talk about a guy that was vilified before he got there, and Offerman was really the same way. He's a big reason why the Red Sox are leading that wild card run. He was an all-star. He's had a great year. Great year. Bernie Williams to right field. Back goes Sean Green. Back, gone! Slam in the 8th last night. 2-run homer here in the 6th inning has given the Yankees the lead. His 24th of the season.
When Henkin tried to come inside to Bernie, and Bernie is really heating up. Look at this pitch. How quick he throws the head of the bat to the ball. Fastball inside, boom, right there. He knew it. Bernie's one of those hitters that, a lot like Rafael Palmeiro, looks like that he doesn't even swing at the ball and hits it out of the park.
Tina Martinez, who homered his last time up, has flown out to center field. There's 2 outs. Yankees working with a 2-run lead for the first time tonight. They led 1-0 after 1. And then Toronto with a 4 spot in the 4th. Took a 4-1 lead, and the Yankees with 3 in the 5th to tie it. 2 in the 6th to take the lead for Andy Pettitte. Chili Davis, check swing double his last time up and scored.
It's starting to look more like the Yankees of old. You know, O'Neill drove in the big run in the 1st. Williams hit the home run. Martinez hit the home run. Chili hit the double. Leday hit the triple. So you're going from 2 through 7, all of them making major contributions, and Knobloch hit the ball hard.
Well, you know, long way to go here, and but I'm just telling you, they were just looser at the cage. You could just feel the size out there. You know, I asked the guys who were with him every day, the coaches, Chris Chambliss, Willie Randolph. You can't really tell, but they said, I would say that that's a good assumption.
Yeah, it's almost like being in a car 25 miles from home. You run out of gas, and you're so frustrated, and you look over there and it's got an extra tank that you flip to. That's where the Yankees were. They're about out of gas. They were struggling. The pitching struggled. And last night in a ball game, they flipped that switch, and it gives you new life. And you know that feeling of exhilaration when you don't have to walk 25 miles somewhere without a phone. And these guys just, it takes the burden off of you. They've been pressing. They've been defensive at the plate. They've lost a little confidence pitching.
Chili walks, which will bring up Ricky Leday. Paul Quantrill throwing in the bullpen for Toronto, and a visit and a move by manager Jim Bellafragosi. So Henkin is gone. Quantrill is in. Henkin could not keep a 4-1 lead, and now he's gone. We'll be back.
To number 1, the Georgia Peach, a gentle moniker for one of baseball's nastiest players, whose legend the game will never forget. Sports Century athlete number 20, Ty Cobb, Friday at 10:30 on ESPN, presented by General Motors.
Well, Pat Henkin is gone. Here's a guy, Ray, that in his previous 4 starts gave up 5 earned runs and 27 in the 3rd. Tonight, 6 runs, 5 of them earned in 5 2/3.
Yeah, well, he's facing a lineup that's heating up, a very tough lineup when they are patient and get their pitches to hit. As you look at Paul Quantrill, 34 games, done a good job for this ball club. Not a strikeout pitcher, fastball, curveball. Guy that you don't like to see in ball games because he's a long reliever, and generally when they're in there, you're taking over with 2 or 3 run deficit.
Quantrill pitched for Jim Fregosi in Philadelphia in 94, 95. Was a Red Sox. And traded by the Red Sox in 94. Along with Billy Hatcher over to the Phillies for Wes Chamberlain. Didn't really pan out in Boston. At any rate, he faces Ricky Leday. Trying to keep this game at 6-4. Chili Davis, the runner at first with 2 outs, 2 runs home. Yankees 3 in the 5th, now 2 in the 6th to take a 6-4 lead. High. 3-0. Henkin knows that probably didn't get some of the pitches that he would have liked. There goes Chili. Let's send in Chili on a 3-0.
Why not? See, Chili's been around so long. He probably has a green light. He doesn't run much anymore, but again, 3-0. You know the pitcher's concentrating on the hitter. You got 2 outs. Get on down there in case he throws a strike, and now you're in scoring position if it ends up being a 3-1 pitch.
So 2 on, 2 out for the youngster. First major league game. D'Angelo Jimenez single to right field, his first time up to hit 1,000. Then flew out to center field. He's now hitting 500. You saw his average with AAA Columbus. Opposite way, this will find the seats. Foul ball.
Very typical of a young player. He has seen 3 pitches, and he's swung at all 3 of them. Base hit, Fly ball, foul ball. That's what you call coming out of the dugout hacking, baby. Thou shalt not pass.
As you point out, hard not to.
It's hard not to, man. That first at bat that I started to talk about, my legs felt like water. I was 20 years old, and Larry Hardy threw me 3 sliders, one on the outside part of the plate. I swung at, then one about four inches outside. I swung at, then one about the middle of the other batter's box, and I swung it in. Pete Rose was in the on-deck circle. I was pinch hitting for the pitcher. He said, "Hey, kid, you better learn how to hit that pitch." I did. I learned how not to swing at it.
Coney pitched okay last night. He may go Sunday. They talked that just once a week for David because of the arm and the years, and he's pitched well, but there's an off day Monday, and Joe says that they're thinking about maybe going Sunday in this particular time around. They're not sure yet.
Yeah, and what's happened, he pitched that perfect game on a 6-day rest, and what they've noticed when he goes on 5 days rest, he actually is 2 or 3 miles an hour slower on his fastball, so he's losing velocity, so they just pushed him back to every 6th day, and his velocity's picked back up. So, as you say, there's been a lot of wear and tear on that arm.
Yeah, they always play some tunes and stuff to try and rev up the crowd here. I'll tell you about it in a minute. I can't believe we're sitting here in the 6th inning in Toronto. They haven't cranked one Bryan Adams song yet. Look at Coney. That's good. Okay, you got your ball, you got your hit, now you get made fun of by our guys. Now what he's doing. I just, where's Bryan Adams here? I come up here to hear Bryan Adams cranked. Maybe BTO or any of the Randy Bachman and the guys, Guess Who? Or maybe Geddy Lee or Rush. Well, I mean, I'm waiting to hear Gordon Lightfoot. I mean, that's not exactly crank material, but he's my man.
Style, though.
He's my man. Gordy's my man.
I'm not too big on all that cranking. I like that mellow.
Great. Can't believe we haven't heard of it. By the way, Quantrill's not in a rush, is he?
It looks like he's in a rush. He started 71 ball games for the Phillies back 3 and 4 years ago. They moved him to long relief.
Getting closer to being a fair ball.
This guy tries to, looks like he's modeling his stance like Robbie Alomar. It's a little Robbie Alomar flip with 2 strikes there.
Two again. Struck him out. Oh, he's all the way down to 333. What's the matter with him? His average has dropped 667 in the last 2 at bats. But the Yankees grab the lead.
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by 10-10-220. Dial it and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents. And by FedEx. Next time, send it FedEx and be absolutely sure.
Chris Berman and Ray Knight with you here in Skydome at Toronto, where the Yankees trailing 4-1, lead at 6-4, bottom of the 6th inning. So Andy Pettitte now pitching with a 2-run lead, and he will face bottom of the order, Brumfield, and then Homer Bush, Brian McRae. Nobody's throwing in the pen here. I know it's only the bottom of the 6th, Ray, but Andy gave up a 4 spot in the 4th, had 2 men on in the 5th. You may be right. Not only a straighten yourself out game, but a statement game. And Cleveland's coming up for the next 4, where the bullpen should be pretty active. It could be.
Yeah, those taking it easy days are over. And this is a pennant race. Prepare yourself mentally and physically. Everybody's arms should be built up by now. Some people like Tony and Clemens have thrown a lot of innings. Could be a little weary, but Pettit missed a lot of time early in this midseason, actually. But he's still 87 pitches coming into this inning. He's not the same Pettit that I have been accustomed to seeing. 41 balls, 46 strikes. It's just not enough strikes.
You know, when I look at Andy 3-1, you know, and I know things have changed over the years. You give up more hits now, it seems, but actually it was Hinkin that blew me away. Andy, 186 hits allowed, 166 innings going in. Hinkin, 193, 171. I mean, the days are over when your hits and innings pitched are about the same. Well, that's ripped pretty well by number 9 hitter Jacob Brumfield. And Bernie did have time to get back. There's one out. Let's get it back. Back to Bill Pito.
All right, Chris, Pedro Martinez against Dave Justice. Cleveland down 1 and threatening with 2 on here, but Martinez rings him up and sits him down through 5. Martinez, 9 strikeouts. It's 3-3 now on the top of the 6th. 3-2. I'm sorry, still 3-2.
9 Ks through 5. So let's see. So last 14 innings, we got 26 strikeouts. Yeah. Fahrenheit. Yeah, against the Yankees and the Indians on the road, by the way. This is just in. He's pretty good. Steamrolling towards seeing Pedro in the first round again.
Nobody's going to want to face the Red Sox. Nobody's going to want to face that man.
Strike to Homer Bush. Remember, Pedro opened up with a win in Cleveland last year in the playoffs. We did that game. Never pitched again. He lost in 4, although Jimmy gambled with Shirk in the 4th game. He pitched great, so I mean, it wasn't the lost what 2-1 that game. But Pedro, he may go 1 and 4 this time if he can, if necessary. You know, his makeup's a little different this time. Win 2 games and.
Well, you had that travel day in there, and it's coming back 1 day early.
That's right, the American. Yeah.
He had those problems right after the All-Star break with his arm. Just a matter of how sound he is.
Although, actually, I'm going to tell you something. Well, he really handcuffed Bush. That's a good job by Pettit. We are at the point of our telecast when we get to tell you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without express written consent. So there. Looking forward to those playoffs. What I was trying to say is the way it's going to work, I think, Ray, the fans out there, it's kind of clouded in mystery. But if it is Boston wild card and they play Cleveland in the opening round, I think the way that's going to go is that's the series that doesn't start on Tuesday. I think that's the way it works this year. That would be the oddball. It goes Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The other American League series is the strange one that's Tuesday, day off Wednesday, Thursday, day off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The wild card series starts late. The Red Sox win the East. They get the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. He would get the extra rest. That would play in their hands if they win the East. Just something for fans to think about. 1-1 pitch to Brian McRae. Chopper. Young D'Angelo Jimenez. That's a nice short throw across Patino Martinez. And a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettit. First time he's done that since the second. We'll be back. As they say up here in Toronto, nobody may be the first, second, or third star at this point, but because everybody has a hit in our Head and Shoulders in-game box score. A lot of dandruff for the Yankees there in the 5th when they hit for the cycle. But everyone, one. Who is skating as the first star tonight up here? Yeah, Tino homered, Bernie homered. Tino number 25, Bernie 2-run shot at 24th. Day with an RBI triple, Girardi with an RBI single, O'Neill with an RBI single. Little chopper by Joe Girardi. And the throw across from Batista to Delgado. There is one out. We would like to take this opportunity, all of us, here on the Wednesday Night Baseball crew. And I know a lot of fans, really everybody, reaches out to Scott Brocious, who the third baseman of the Yankees, and a gentleman, a true gentleman. Lost his dad, Maury, the other day, 56 years young in Oregon, to colon cancer. Happened very quickly. Scott had a great visit with him a couple of weeks ago in which he kind of knew that they might not get together again. And Scott has gone home with the family, and for all we know that Scott and his family are watching tonight, and we feel for you. The Yankees made a point of letting us know that they send their love to you and the family, and never easy or never possible to deal with, and we're all thinking of you. This ball's hit long way by Knobloch. And there's 2 outs. We'll bring up Derek Jeter. And the Yankee family lost a great man this week. Hall of Fame pitcher, catfish hunter, 5 World Series championship rings, 3 with Oakland, 2 with the Yankees. And every major league player in there, the band, along with the Maggio number 5, the band for catfish, every player in the major leagues owes that man a thank you. When he signed $800,000 a year over 5, was like a $4 million over 5-year contract. Preposterous at the time by Steinbrenner in '75. He never pitched never changed his attitude, never was big time. Guy won 20 games, 5 straight years. How about his last year with Oakland, Ray? 25 and 12, 268 hits, 46 walks, and 318 innings. You know why I mentioned that? Walks and hits total weren't as many as any pitch.
Which is highly...
Doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen too often.
So,
but I got to know Catfish in the late 70s. And I, too, Scotty Brocious, one of the finest people around. And you forget that these guys are human, and they deal with these things every day.
Wow, that was an intriguing at-bat. Jeter not sure quite what happened to him there. But a 1-2-3 inning for... Paul Quantrill. We are 6-4 Yankees here. Let's go to Cincinnati for bonus coverage of Sammy Sosa against the Reds.
Another chance for the Cubs here in the 9th inning. A 2-out walk to Mark Grace. It's a 5-3 Red game.
And now if Sammy does join a very short list of 1, hitting 60 home runs in 2 straight years, it's going to tie the ball game.
He's 2 out of 6 lifetime against Graves. Everybody standing here. The pitch. Swing and a chopper rolled foul for strike 1. Sosa tonight singled his first time up. Missed a pitch from Nagel that I'll bet he wishes he had back in the 4th. He popped that to second. They pitched around him in the 5th. He drew the intentional walk and then grounded to third last time up.
He got a hanging slider the last time up from Williamson, who was probably suffering from that cut finger that took him out of the ball game the very next pitch. Mark Grace is going to take off and go to second. They're not paying any attention to him.
No balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. What a cut he had. Grace takes second. It's 0-2.
And the fans on their feet all over this ballpark.
Who says there's not as much excitement for Sosa and McGuire this year? No balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Breaking ball. Did he go?
No way you're going to get that call in this situation. You can appeal to anybody you want.
But he did not go. 1-2 now.
Well, we've seen closer ones called tonight, but not this time.
And not that guy.
Not this guy in this situation. You got to figure Graves going to try to heat him up inside with a fastball and try to throw it by him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Sammy sitting on 59. The pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle. There's a base hit. Grace rounds third. He's going to score. And the Cubs are within a run. 5-5.
All right, so Sosa doesn't homer, but he brings the Cubs within 1 as we start with Sean Green here in the 7th inning, flying out to Ricky Leday. So one thing that Andy Pettitte has done tonight, he has handled Sean Green 0 for 4.
And he's starting to throw strikes. He's starting to go at people, and I think this is a testament to Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre understanding Andy Pettitte has always struggled in games, 4th, 5th inning, right in that area there, the second time around the lineup, and they're stuck with him, and now he's put away 5 people in a row.
Here's Carlos Delgado with his 44th home run to lead off the 4th inning. Ball that seemed to, it seemed like a Jimi Hendrix ball, because it was an excuse me while I kissed the sky job. But that thing almost went literally over the top of the roof. Mike Stanton, lefty. Jeff Nelson, thrown about a dozen times now in the games. He's coming around to where Joe Torre really likes what he sees, Ray. And that's something the Yankees missed dearly earlier this year.
There's the breaking ball for a strike. Starting to get the breaking ball over now, or at least getting the calls on the breaking ball.
Outside, 2-1 to Delgado, who is flown to left and walked in addition to that roof-scraping home run. Griffey leads the American League with 45. Delgado second with 44. In the hole is Jimenez. Throwing it away is the rookie Jimenez, who made the full whirly-bird and continued to fly it over first. Tino, no chance. Our head and shoulders in-game box score for the Blue Jays. Think about Delgado's 44th home run. No one in their lineup with more than one safety.
6 hits. 2 out of 8 runners scoring position. Scored.
Now the error on Jimenez. No. Wait a minute, they give him a base hit?
Well,
they even had the one on the, I don't.
That's
all the one on the error in the end.
That's not a hit. This is a good play, but once you catch the ball, that play's over. Now you come up and make a throw. He's got plenty of time. Look how far away. You don't even see him in the picture there. That is not a base hit. No way.
That's a hit?
No way.
Oh my God. I might hit 300. I might hit those.
I may hit 255, 260 up
here. You can just tell the right fielder, the correct fielder, throw it away every now and then. Okay. So the hits now, if you will, are even at 7. That was odd. So Jimenez doesn't get his first error in the game in which he gets his first hit.
Well,
kind of.
Well.
Kind of. Right?
He's still feeling 1,000.
Yeah.
That won't drop quite as rapidly as that batting average.
Let's hope not. Jimenez again, where the ball finds you, but it's foul.
Well, he did show a lot of range there. Jimenez showed a lot of range going all the way over there in the hole. A lot of third basemen don't cut that ball off, and it's a base hit. And once he righted himself, very difficult to throw off AstroTurf. You know, I'm not sure what type of field he played on, but AstroTurf, very difficult to stop and make a pivot throw because your feet just tend to bounce. There, Pettitte, 108 pitches, probably going to need help this next inning. He generally 115, 120 pitches in, he's usually gone.
Ooh. It did not get him, huh?
They hit something. I think he hit the bat. I thought he hit something.
Wow, that was high and tight.
That's a good pitch, though. This is the old-time bust him inside, baby. Right there, right around the chest. I like that pitch. Not up around, not above the shoulders, but brush him back.
Hernandez, it's a shot to Knobloch, to Jeter for 1, to Martinez for 2. So the brush back and the double play. We have played 7 here at Toronto. 6-4 Yankees.
Well, how fresh is...
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Morning, Tommy.
Amazing. That car never ages.
To help keep your car young, protect your engine with Havoline Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car.
Andy Pettitte, who has been 5-3 since he was, quote, not traded, if you will, at the trading deadline. Ray, 110 pitches, 2 starts ago he went 119, 4 starts he had 124, before that 129, before that 134. So, I mean, and really, the guys haven't been throwing that vigorously down in the pen. One guy that used to pick up Andy Pettitte at times is now in the game for Toronto.
Well, 134 in that game, he went 8 innings. And generally, 8 innings, if you're averaging 15 pitches per inning, that's 120 pitches. And Andy throwing so many balls will be around 135 pitches or so if he gets through the 8th inning. 127, 28 pitches.
Melvin here, Stottlemyre here, making sure they have their signals straight. 1, 2, 3 inning for Pettitte. Remember, he's retired the last. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 inning for him was his first since 2nd inning.
See his last.
I'm sorry. His last. Well, there's a. Depends if you want to call that a hit or error with Delgado. We'll get into that next day.
Well, he wiped it out with a double play anyway.
Here is Quantrill to work to O'Neill, Williams, and Martinez. Quantrill is retired 4-1. I mean, Graham Lloyd. We started to talk about it. Graham Lloyd, Moonlight Graham Lloyd, from the Field of Dreams. You ever look him up in the baseball encyclopedia? Moonlight Graham.
I did.
Played like a game with the New York Giants as a defensive replacement in the outfield. Here's our Aussie. So we had Henkin, Quantrill, and now the lefty Graham Lloyd. Burns are a little new this year. Huh?
Well, hey, he must have gotten up here in this Toronto culture and found the hairdresser or whatever you call those people, trimmer, I don't know, facial. Oh, man. But he needs to get the ball over the plate. Paul O'Neill talking about a bad year, hitting .285 with 88 RBI. Still got a chance for 100. He has hit into 20 double plays this year. A lot of big league players like hit .285 and drive in 90 runs. And not a big home run year, just 16 home runs.
But they really like Graham Lloyd as a teammate. I know that. They miss him in the clubhouse.
Well, certain personalities just make you feel better about yourself, and seeing people when you walk into the clubhouse, just the way they go about their business, their attitude, cheery attitude, positive, sometimes people quips. Dave Wells, you know, one of my favorite people to be around. When he came over to Cincinnati, got to know him extremely well. I mean, crazy as he could be, but tremendously big heart. Just a loving guy that was always doing something, wearing those false, crazy-looking teeth.
Batista over to Delgado when O'Neill is gone. I saw David before the game. I said, what are you doing tonight? No, just an innocent question. Buy him a soda. We've had a soda before.
Sure you have, yeah.
When two boomers get together, I mean, what do you expect? So I got to be in a movie tomorrow. I got to be on set at 6 a.m.
For real?
No, I forget what it was.
Must be a biker movie. Return of the Hells Angels or something.
He's playing himself.
You know, his mother was a Hells Angel.
Yeah, he's playing himself. I said, that's a very scary movie already. Now you're telling me it's a horror movie. He's great. He's just one of a kind. Bernie Williams tries to go down the right field line, but this will curve foul. Attendance tonight, 29,460. Almost, it's about the 29 and change last night. Now, those are good crowds for a team that, is really hanging by the thread in a pennant race, so it is the Yankees, some of whom have left. I mean, that crowd is less than 29 now, but remember, Ray, it was 50,000 every night. Every night was 50,000. I don't know if those days are gone forever or not. 18 segments where sections where they have the tarps on. I'm not knocking a crowd of 29,000 on a school night, in the middle of the week.
See, that's 7 nights in Montreal.
No, I know that. But it's just you remember you could not get a ticket here.
Bernie having a tough time right-handed, Chris. Last night, people were going over the game with me again. Jim Cott said they were a little surprised that Fregosi went to the right-hander to turn Bernie around. Even though they brought Coach in, to turn Bernie around, he hits a grand slammer. He's just not swinging the bat very well right-handed. And the Yankees were a little surprised that Fregosi made that move because it was playing right into their hands.
One-two pitch. Homer Bush had a pretty sharp game out there at second base. There are 2 outs. Of course, with the games on tonight, baseball tonight takes a rare one-night hiatus, but Ravi and the gang will be back. They're not you tomorrow?
No, I'm out of there for a little while. I'm in there next week.
I'm sure. Baseball tonight at midnight tomorrow. With Carl Ravitch, labor of love of those guys and ladies. They love their baseball. It's kind of fun to present it, man. It really is.
It's a moving show. Every anchor on that show, because everything else after that just seems slow paced. Because we initiated that. Pappy and you on Sunday night.
Well, we had good Sunday night fun, did we not? Graham Lloyd with a 1-2-3 infield ground ball inning. Martinez is gone. Can the Jays get it rattling in the bottom of the 8th?
The actress in Hollywood.
Our Goodyear key plays of this game north of the border. Ricky Leday has driven in a run with a triple and has made fine plays and left like that catch from Jose Cruz. Down 4-1, Tino Martinez started a 3-run 5th with his 25th home run of the year, a solo shot, and Bernie Williams put the Yankees up with a 2-run shot in the 6th, his 24th. Delgado is hit number 44 for Toronto, who have homered in their 13th straight game, one off the club record. But the Jays in danger of falling 7.5 behind the Red Sox in the wild card chase. They don't get something going. It's Tony Batista, Pat Borders, Jose Cruz, and Batista does get something going against Andy Pettit, who's out to start the bottom of the 8th inning. So Batista is aboard for the 2nd time tonight. He has walked earlier and scored. Now he is 1 for 3. Clay Bellinger is now going in for defensive purposes at 3rd for the youngster D'Angelo Jimenez, and I would say that's a smart move.
Yeah, get him out of the game. He's got his feet wet, got himself a hit, made a couple of nice plays. But I tell you, he doesn't feel any differently out there in this late part of the game. Probably felt better late than he did early, because the longer you're out there, the better you feel defensively. There's nothing like that first inning or 2 when you're on that field.
Off-speed pitch up top to Pat Borders, 1-0. Borders 0 for 3 tonight. Caught a good game, thrown out a base runner. Cleveland earlier this year. He was the main catcher the years that they won the back-to-back championships, 92-93. Off-speed pitch hit to center field. Bernie Williams. Now that he got an excellent jump on and makes the catch to keep the back to first.
Playing a little deeper, with 2-run lead, you don't want to have the ball sit over your head here. Keep everything in front of you. Keep the double play in order. And you'll see here when we open out to him, he's already deep. He's probably 5 steps deeper than he was against Homer Bush.
Same guy, Jeff Nelson, the tall right-hander. Mike Stanton is the lefty, although Nelly, that's the short toss, I guess. Little broken batter that's lipped, that's not blocked and grabbed, so Cruz is robbed again tonight.
Yeah, he's starting to swing the bat pretty well. What I like about it is he's going to right field. He hit that one ball really hard to Leday in left field. Here you see it's a little cutter in, and that's good. I mean, even though he got jammed a little bit, nice little leaping play by Chuck. Glad he didn't have to throw it. Oh, that's hard.
Nice.
Hey, you got to admit it, man. When you struggle, you struggle. This is the big leagues, and this is where, by which everyone is gauged. So, not that tough to make that throw.
Jacob Brumfield, the number 9 hitter, is 1 for 2 in a walk. He scored a run.
I'm not sure that he's going to try to make a statement here with Pettit. He and Torrey there, Mel Stottlemyre on right. If he picks up that phone and calls the bullpen, he's going to say, you know, you're in the ball game. If another guy gets on is what he's going to say.
I don't know, it just clicked in with me. Didn't Brumfield play with you at the strikers?
Yes, he did.
Well, remember what he did? Because he was just coming up and certainly not making a lot of money. He got a job during the strike. He was a bellman at a hotel. Doesn't that sound right? I don't know why that just clicked in, but I remember Jacob Brumfield doing that in Cincinnati, or maybe his hometown, but that's what he did. At any rate, from the bellman, and will the bell toll? Mel Stottlemyre, pitching coach, out to talk to Pettit. What does he want to know, Ray?
He's just asking him how he feels. You know, he's had a pitch.
Nothing in particular?
No, nothing in particular. I mean, he's been really solid. The ball hit the center field, was hit fairly decent, but he's had 116 pitches, and basically what he's saying is go right at him right here, make your pitch. You're throwing good. I like where you are, and just making sure that he knows exactly where Andy Pettit is mentally. They can pretty much see where you are physically by your velocity, movement, location. If the ball starts getting away to you, usually up and out away from hitters.
Red Sox leading 3-2 in the 7th. Yankees trying to keep that 3.5 game lead. Blue Jays just trying to cling by their fingernails, need to get it going.
Well, this will be his last hitter. No question. You will not let him face another hitter, even though the hitter's Homer Bush. You'll see Rivera there with just 4 outs to get.
Boy, has he been great as of late. Little chopper that Bellinger in for defense. Flips over to Knobloch. So Pettit, a strong 8 innings, stands to win his 13th. If it stays this way, we played 8-6 for New York. Top of the 9th inning, Chris Berman along with Ray Knight. The Yankees trying to nail this thing down with the Blue Jays, having lost the first game of the series, which made it a 4-game losing streak, but came back with that great comeback win last night, down 6-1 in the 8th, winning at 10-6, down 4-1 here, going to the 5th, and then they now lead at 6-4. Chili Davis, Ricky Leday, and then the new third baseman, Clay Bellinger, will be the batter. Slow bouncer to Batista. 1 up, 1 down. Chili gone. Warm, maybe hot. Bill Pito.
All right, Chris, Houston and Philadelphia as the Astros go for their 13th win in a row. In the bottom of the 5th, Lance Berkman's at the plate. He's going to go to center. Doug Glanville has all kinds of problems with it. The run comes in to score, and it puts Houston up over the Phillies by the score of 4-3. Phillies have lost 11 in a row in the bottom of the 7th.
Two teams, as we would say, slightly different polarity at this point. Are the Astros ever going to lose?
They've got great pitching. Boy, that team's coming together. They struggled, you know, about 3 weeks ago, they were struggling a little bit with a lot of people out. Caminiti came back, hit 2 big home runs. Their pitching just with Lima and
Houston's pitching, Atlanta's pitching, Arizona's pitching. Yikes.
Hey, Cincinnati's beginning to pitch. Paris coming back, 9-2. Nagel pitching well.
Yikes. Leday swinging through that pitch. Graham Lloyd working inning 2. I read a very interesting story yesterday in the Hartford Courant, my local paper. It was real interesting because they cover the Yankees pretty close. Donna Mori wrote it. And they said, you know, everyone said, well, what's wrong with the Yankees and this and that? And it broke down the 3 great teams in Yankee history that have been more than that. The 27 Yankees who went. Well, the day swings. Well, wait a minute. This could be more interesting than we thought. Oh, man. Borders just punched him out. That was almost the most exciting strikeout that we've seen since the Atlanta-Arizona game last night.
Well, one thing that Delgado ought to do here is get a little bit more inside. Once the catcher steps out, he needs a target inside, goes back for the ball, has to throw there.
Whoa.
Delgado right there, barely over the shoulder. Here we see it again. And watch what happens here when the ball goes back. He misses it, then that puts him right in direction behind the runner, right over his head, right off his shoulder.
Waters from the ball good tonight, right?
He's always had a very strong arm.
Underrated. Here was the point. I'll probably just get going here, and we'll have to continue with the next half inning. I'm not going to take forever, but 27 Yankees went 110 and 44, and you know, Ruth and Garrett combined for 107 home runs. Next year, they were not in first place in September. They played a big doubleheader against the Philadelphia A's. Babe Ruth went over the other dugout and said, "You guys enjoying first place, boys? We're going to take over it after this doubleheader," which they did. And they ended up winning, quote, an off-year 101 and won the World Series. The 61 Yankees, which will continue after this, as Bellinger bounces out to Delgado. And the Blue Jays have 1 inning with which to come up 2 runs. Can they do it? We'll be back.
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by cold, refreshing Zima. Zima, a few degrees cooler. By America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. And by your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Ask how, ask now, ask Sherwin-Williams.
Nighttime in Toronto. The Toronto Blue Jay fans are hoping that perhaps there's time for a little bit of rally.
Well, this is not a guy that's easy to rally off of.
No, sir. 40 saves, second in the majors behind the man he used to set up, John Wetland. And Ray, has he been hot or what? Not allowed to run in his last 21 1/3 innings pitched, spanning 19 appearances back to July 22nd.
And there's your barometer. 39 hits, 17 base on balls. That equals 56. 59 2/3. A little different with relievers, but that tells you you've got awesome stuff. You throw it for strikes and nobody hits it. 182 oppositional batting average against Mariano Rivera.
Top of the order, Homer Bush, Brian McRae, and Sean Green with Carlos Delgado. He had the 44 homers, including one tonight. Due up fourth, David Segui is moved into the on-deck circle. There are some hitters here that Rivera must take care of. Just real complete the story. 27 Yankees won 110 games, Ray. 28 Yankees, quote, what's wrong with them? Well, guess what? They came back to win the World Series. '61 Yankees with Maris and Mantle hitting all those home runs, 109 games, rolled in the series. 62 Yankees, quote, what's wrong with them? They won 13 less games. By the way, 96 won the World Series. These Yankees will be, 17 wins less than last year. Can they win the World Series? It's more than just blowing teams away to get you the chance. Just very interesting that each of those great teams, quote, struggled, but in the end, won the World Series. Can the 99 Yankees do it, the 28 and the 62 Yankees?
Yeah.
It's just an interesting observation.
If you call them struggling, winning 96,
right.
97
Well,
games.
you know what I mean. I'm being facetious there.
And the Yankees set such a high standard, and when they do have had those great ball clubs, they've just blown the league away, and finally you have a decent year.
Mariano Rivera doesn't want to struggle with the leadoff man, Homer Bush, Ray, but it's 3-1. It's ball 4, fastball high. Seemed real, I mean, look, now, far be it for me, but that seemed like, I know he releases quickly, but it seemed more of in a hurry to deliver that pitch. That ball wasn't just high, it's like it sailed on him a little bit.
Well, there's always adjustments to mounds when relievers come in. Even though you play in these ballparks 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes 4 times, you still have to adjust to the mound, and it'll take sometimes those warm-up pitches and maybe 4, 5, 6 pitches to get settled in out there on the mound. David Segui acquired at the trading deadline, thought that he would really solidify this lineup, hitting between Delgado and Green.
Not blocked, bobbles, gets Segui. Bush, whose run doesn't mean anything, if you will, is down to second base. I don't know if they're going to turn 2 on that particular ball.
They're not going to turn 2. I was concerned about him getting 1
yep.
here. Seems like every ball that Chuck is fielding, you know, it's just a mental thing. I saw him in college when he was playing shortstop, and he didn't miss anything.
Shawn Green looking for his first hit tonight. Looks like he broke the bat a little bit. Will this land fair? Gelatino almost made a great play down there. He made one of those already tonight. And Green will get another opportunity.
Shawn Green 2 for 10 against Rivera. A little harder run here. Running full tilt all the time, putting his hands out, I think he's putting his hands out saying, I got it. The roof is pulled all the way back. There's nothing up there but dark sky, so I don't think that he had any problem finding that ball. That roof out there is way out over center field, so there's no roof interference there.
Shawn Green has 39 home runs. 40 would tie the game. Not on this one. Knobloch. Flip over to Tino Martinez. The runner Bush down to third. But here's a man who has homered tonight and can certainly tie the game. Strength versus strength. Rivera against Carlos Delgado as the Yankees. Mariano Rivera is trying to convert his 18th straight save opportunity. And Toronto trying to avoid going 3-18 against the Yankees in Boston.
I think he'll pitch Delgado really carefully. You always pick out one guy in the batting order that's not going to beat you. Delgado 3 for 8 against Rivera. More success than anybody on this ball club. They know it. He is their most dangerous power threat guy, most capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. But still, Rivera, as a closer, a little different attitude. He usually goes right at guys.
Came inside and got the corner call from Jim McKean behind the plate. Strike 1. Delgado didn't like it. That's what it was.
Well, look here. The ball. Watch the catcher's mitt how he goes and backhands that ball. Ball maybe off the plate a couple inches there. Got the call. Used to throwing strikes.
Broken bat. Tino back. Squeezes it. And the Yankees have come from behind again to win their second straight in Toronto. And at worst, will remain 3.5 up on the Boston Red Sox as the Yankees move into Cleveland for a 4-game set. For Toronto, they could fall 7.5 back in the wild card race, and for all intents and purposes, be breathing their final breaths as far as the pennant goes here if postseason goes in '99. Hope you enjoyed our Wednesday night baseball for Ray Knight and all of us here north of the border. We always like coming up here to Toronto. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching. The Yankees 6, the Blue Jays 4. Billy Pito, off to you, eh?